pull up. I can't record, so I just have to pull a VOD and do the video. But either way, I don't know what the hell Baxter was doing right there. If y'all saw that, but welcome everybody to the Coaches Challenge podcast. This is episode 16. And today we will be doing a mock draft, our yearly mock draft. We've only done this for like 2 years, and I don't even know. I can't remember if we did one last year. I'm just ignoring those two down there. Speaking of which, as y'all see at the bottom of the screen, if you're watching this on video, if you're listening on audio, you've already heard two of these damn scoundrels in here laughing it up about some stupid shit. But anyway, we got Justin Baxley, and we got the full OG crew back. Me, Daryl, Ben Goldberg, Jordan Jackson, here to do this mock draft. I know I said the last podcast that we would be back weekly, and I'm sorry. I got the ick. I don't know what it was. Nobody ever told me what the ick was, but it went around. But my dad, me had it. My mom has it right now. So, but better. And we're ready to do this mock draft. So with that being said, here's the format. So y'all see the mock draft machine on the screen. This is from the Draft Network. If you want to do this on your own, but we have 4 people here. So what we're gonna do is that we already have a draft order set. It's gonna be me, then Justin Baxley with the second pick, Jordan Jackson with the third pick, and then Ben Goldberg with the 4th pick. Why am I calling y'all's full names out? That sounds so fucking weird. And then what we're gonna do is every 4 picks, one person will pick. It's in order, in sequential order. You get what I'm trying to say. And then we have a quirk for this podcast, something that we thought about back in 2019 when me and Ben were talking about starting this podcast, is doing a challenge thing. We did have this at the beginning of the podcast. We kind of got away from it. But basically you get 2 challenges. So if you don't agree with somebody else's pick, let's say, for example, Goldberg's going to end up with the 8th pick. So if Ben picks, I'm just going to throw out some random example, Kyle Hamilton for the Falcons, then, you know, with JJ being a Falcons fan, he can, if he wants to, throw out the challenge. And if he can convince Ben to change his pick, then JJ wins the challenge and he gets an extra one for the later on in the draft whenever he wants to use it. So he would get 3 in total if he's able to win at least one of those challenges. Hey Chris, what's going on? Thanks for the resub. And yes, that is a wild Ben, a random Ben appearance. It's been a while since Ben has been on the channel. When was the last time? It's been shit. I think you did an MLB The Show stream. That was the last time you've been on here. Yeah.
My PlayStation broke.
Damn it.
Oh, got it.
But with that being said, I think we can go ahead and get into it because there's no need to waste any time. Plus, we've all been sitting in here waiting for like the last 30 minutes to get this started. So let's go ahead and get into it. No need to waste too much time. Plus, Baxley has to go leave to do some Survivor shit. I don't know. Either way, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And here, I don't think I have to offer up much explanation here. The Jaguars, their offensive line was fucking terrible, and Evan Neal's the best offensive lineman on the board, in my opinion. I mean, according to everybody else. So I'm going with Evan Neal here with the first pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have no other explanation than that. If anybody wanted to say anything about that, then
I really like that pick. I don't think the Jaguars will do that. I think they're going to go defensive line, but I think that's the correct pick. I think if I was running the Jaguars, that's the name I'd be to the podium first thing right out of the gate. Like that's the kid that should go number 1 because you drafted Trevor Lawrence. You need to invest in protecting Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, you do.
I agree with you there. And I have the same mindset. I think that's the smart pick. I think that's what the Jaguars need to do. You know, protect your future investment in Trevor Lawrence. I just think the reason why, and I agree with you, I think the Jaguars won't go offensive lineman there. Is I expect them to go edge rusher. More than likely, it'll probably be Aiden Hutchinson. But I think because a lot of people kind of, in terms of positional value, they view edge rushers nowadays a little bit more than offensive linemen. Once again, I'm sure that differs from person to person. But I mean, we see so many dynamic edge rushers in the game nowadays. I think teams are trying to find someone to be that dynamic edge rusher for them, which is why I think you're right. I think they'll probably go away from offensive linemen. But if I was running the Jaguars too, I'd be here you go. First pick, easy. Offensive tackle.
The only reason why I picked Neal there is that I have a feeling that the Jaguars actually will take Evan Neal. This is just me personally. I'm not that high on Aiden Hutchinson. I think he is a solid edge rusher, but I don't know if he is number one pick worthy. And with everything that's come out about Kayvon Thibodeaux, he's not going to be taken first, just because that narrative's out there now. And I just feel like, oh, wait a minute. Christian said that he potentially wants to join in. Now, this is throwing an extra wrinkle in, I know, but fuck it.
Hey, Will.
Why
I
not?
like to roll with the punches.
So you know
I
what?
like to roll with the punches anyway.
We're going to drag Christian in here. Christian, what's up, man?
Okay.
Oh,
Christian
And of
left.
course, he immediately dropped out. Christian,
Oh,
you
he's
there?
back now.
I
Yeah,
just
can you hear
dragged him in. Oh, yeah. Can you see the screen?
I can see you, Daryl. Can't
Can
see
you-
anything else.
Can you see the screen? Oh my! It's like such a fucking old man with Discord, man. Holy shit!
Click view stream, buddy.
I got it.
All right.
Look at you.
So you can see the screen and the board and all of that.
I can.
Okay. So all right, I've already explained this. Have you been in the stream?
I'm in here. What do you mean? Yeah, I've been watching.
Okay, so you know how this
You
is
know
going,
what's
right?
happening.
Yes.
All right. So okay, it's me. The order is me, Bexley, JJ, Ben, and then you'll be the fifth pick. So you're gonna get the Giants pick at 5, and then the Jets pick at 10, and then so on and so forth.
Mhm.
And you pick whoever you want, whoever you think is a fit for whatever team is up on the board at that time. Everybody gets 2 challenges. So if say you disagree with Baxley's pick or whatever the case may be, you can put in a challenge. And if you can get the other person to agree with your take, then you get an extra challenge. You only get 1 extra challenge though. You get 1 win.
Got it.
You only need to win 1 challenge to get the extra
Look
one.
at that face. That's what I've been looking forward to all day.
Anyway, Bexley, you go ahead with the second pick, man. Did anybody else want to talk about the Jaguars pick, or you want to go to move on?
I disagree, but it's too late. So go ahead.
Oh,
What do you disagree about? I mean, I'm open to have the discussion. I mean, why not?
remember,
I
Hutton, this
just-
isn't just who we think is gonna. You can interpret it whatever you want.
You can interpret it whatever way you
Okay.
want to.
This is what you would do, Daryl.
hmm
Okay, got it. If this is what you would do, then I'm not going to argue with it. I was thinking of it
What-
for what I think they're
I
going to
mean,
do.
you can argue what you think they could do, too.
Yeah,
I'm not
The
that
whole
it's
thing
not
is
out of
just
bounds.
open to
here.
interpretation. Me and JJ both said we think they're going Aiden Hutchinson,
yes. I think
but
they're
the
gonna go- I
Evan
think they're
Neal
gonna
is
go
actually the
investigative.
correct pick. If I was running the Jaguars.
Correct. I agree with that.
Well, this is interesting because I didn't think this guy would be on the board for me. And I was going to take the other edge rusher that I think they're going to get, which is Trayvon Walker. But I'm going to take Aiden Hutchinson because he's on the board. He's from Michigan. Like, it all just fits for what the Lions like. If I'm the Lions, I don't even know that I wouldn't consider trading up to try to get Aiden Hutchinson just to sell tickets because that kid is a hometown hero, so to speak. And you probably wouldn't have to give up a ton because you're only moving up 1 pick. So Aiden Hutchinson is my pick for the Lions.
Okay.
Agreed.
Give you Aiden
Solid.
Hutchinson. Anybody want to argue that? Because if he's
Home
there
run.
at 2, I definitely see them taking him there.
Home run higher. Home run pick.
Ben, you haven't said anything yet. I'm
I
feel
know.
like you're plotting to say something real crazy soon.
Well, I don't know. I feel like edge rushers are always overhyped. Like when was the last time there was an edge rusher who like was hyped up and turned out to actually be like I mean, like, I don't know. This is having watched Chase Young for 2 seasons where he's been a little underwhelming. I think
hmm
I think he was really good in his first year, and then something happened in his second year, and he just wasn't the same player. He just played very differently. The whole defense played differently, but
hmm
then I think even before that, like I don't know, Clowney was the same kind of way. Clowney had all this hype coming out of college, and he's been very mediocre at the pro level. I just feel like a lot of like these high level edge rushers never seem to pan out quite the way people expect them to.
TJ Watt, Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett.
But TJ Watt was still drafted like what 11th overall, 12th.
Okay.
Like he was still drafted like at the he wasn't a top 10 pick.
You're talking about one of these guys that always gets taken at like 1 or 2 or 3, like the top 5 picks.
Yeah, top
projected
5 picks.
pick
Like
edge rushers.
It always none of them have really ever seemed to.
Was any of the Bosa's drafted?
TJ Watt was taken even later. Wasn't TJ Watt taken in the 20s?
He might have been.
Because JJ Watt was like 11 or 12, and even then.
What about, wasn't Nick taken early?
Nick
Nick
and Joey
Bosa.
were both probably taken pretty early, if I'm not mistaken.
Joey was like a number 2, I think.
Mm.
Or
Yeah,
something,
and
number
then
4, something
obviously
like that.
Myles Garrett was number 1 overall.
Yeah,
He
Myles Garrett.
turned
Yeah.
out really good.
Garrett was a little slow to come on though. Like he started off decent, but he was like, he didn't pick it up until he had a couple of years under his belt, really.
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I mean,
I think that's
do you
part of the
really-
issue with the way
if
we
you're the
break down
Jags-
edge rushers is like we always expect them to come into the league and boom, 15 sacks a season, and it's like
Right.
just like any other position, the player has to adjust. And some people get it right away, like the Bosa brothers or whatever.
If
but
you're the Jags or you're the Lions, do you care if it takes? Do you care if he gets you 15 sacks in year 1,
That's true.
or would you rather him be that guy that hits his stride in the 3rd year and becomes the best defensive end in the league? Like to me, their timeline fits better with letting him, work through some of those things because it's not
Mhm.
about what floor is coming into the league; it's where his ceiling can go. That's why Trayvon Walker is being talked about as a potential number 1 pick. Not because I think Trayvon Walker can come into the league tomorrow and get 10 sacks. It's because Trayvon Walker in 3 years could be the best defensive edge rusher in the league, and that's what that's why you would take him. I don't think you're taking him for what he can do right now. These are bad teams. An edge rusher is not going to fix that. But, eventually, Aiden Hutchinson can be a linchpin for a team like the Jaguars or the Lions.
Any other opinions? Oh, all right. Moving on to pick number 3. I believe this is JJ with the Texans pick. You're at number
Yes,
3.
sir. All right. So, really, I think in this situation, as much as I hate this phrase, I think the Texans are in a position to take best player available. I think there's a lot of, once you get to this point, I think there's still a lot of questions as to who that may be. Baxley, you just mentioned Trayvon Walker, rising up draft boards, edge. We just talked about the edge position, how it's very valued in football. You still got Ikem and Kwanu there, offensive tackle at NC State. I know they're planning on trying out Davis Mills, from what I understand, potentially for another year at quarterback. We'll see.
Mhm.
Or they could take one in the draft. Who knows? But my pick is someone who has fallen down draft boards recently. And I still think that they could potentially go ahead and take this guy here. So at number 3, I'm going to give the Houston Texans Kyle Hamilton.
No.
Safety.
Oh, are you throwing
No.
the flag on that?
Oh, and the flag.
I don't.
I'll throw the flag.
I
And
don't-
here's why I'll throw the flag.
Baxter, go
Here's
ahead.
why.
All
I
right.
think Kyle Hamilton can slip to their pick at 13. Like I think they can still get Kyle Hamilton at 13 because of how much he's fallen. The combine workout was really bad. I just think, I think Kyle Hamilton could be the best safety in this class,
Mhm.
but I think I can get him at 13, and I would rather go ahead and take either Ekwonu or Trayvon Walker or even Kayvon.
I think.
Honestly,
I think
even Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner.
Like,
I think.
yeah,
I think.
I think-
If
I
you're
think
the
there's 4
Texans,
guys on the board that I would take there and then try to grab Hamilton at 13. I think Hamilton is a very valid pick for the
The-
Texans.
that's the
I just
only
think
other
you
reason.
can get him
the
at the
only other-
second one.
The only other reason though would be like I mean, there's so much better value on the board probably than what you'd be getting taking Hamilton. And I mean,
if they didn't have that 13th pick, right? If that was not on the board, like they didn't have it,
Mhm.
I would say, maybe you take Kyle Hamilton because you think he's the best player, and that's perfectly, valid.
So,
But
uh,
having the 13th pick, I think, really helps the Texans, in my opinion, be able to go best value on the board and then circle back and get best player on the board at 13. which
So-
could be Kyle Hamilton.
JJ, what's your decision on that? Are you gonna stick or are you gonna?
Well, before I decide whether or not I'm going to stick or whether or not I'm not going to, can I at least offer up a bit of a, I don't want to say like
Yeah.
a rebuttal, but like some. Okay, so I
Go ahead.
definitely hear what you're saying. I think that's a good point, but I also kind of that same sort of logic that you're using there. I think that's why they take Hamilton here, because I think by the time you get to 13, I personally foresee that they'll still be able to take someone at a position. They need a lot of positions, and they'll still be able to get someone at 13. You'll still likely have a pick of some of the top offensive tackles at 13. I don't necessarily foresee that both Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner are gone by the time they get to 13. And even if you do, you could always trade back. You go and get someone like Trent McDuffie out of Washington. That's a potential. He's been looked at as a top, first round pick potentially. If you want a receiver for some reason, this draft is stocked full of those you can get at 13. So I think that Hamilton offers up. Yes, he's dropped down the draft boards, and he could potentially be there at 13. But I also think that if you take Hamilton here with what he could offer you, being able to play both safety, you can drop him down the box if you want to. You can get him and then still pair him with like a really good defensive back, or get someone on the offensive line at your pick at 13. I think that's why I feel comfortable with them taking Hamilton here at number 3.
I
All
would
right,
just say I think
so
the drop off from Aquanu to Charles Cross is pretty severe in that tackle slot. That's my personal opinion.
Mhm.
I would lock down that tackle spot and then go get. I think Kyle
I
Hamilton's
just
still there at 13.
I just think you're getting better value out of, you take one of these other guys who is higher up, in a less, I don't know how to phrase this basically, because you mentioned wide receiver too, and even if you're looking at wide receiver at 13, there's going to be at least 2 of them gone by the time you pick at 13. There's going to be at least two of every other position gone by the time you pick at 13, I would think.
But I mean, it's
I
still a
also
pretty
think
good
McDuffie
draft,
could be the
so-
best safety in this draft. Like if you can switch him over.
I'm gonna
And
say
even
this
if you
just.
don't-
Oh, go ahead, JJ.
go ahead. I was going to say, even if you don't necessarily want to go offensive lineman, you can still get an edge rusher, which Houston definitely needs also at 13. I mean, you could get someone
Yeah.
like Kayvon Thibodeau drops that far. He's there. Jermaine Johnson out Florida State could potentially be there. I mean, it's Trayvon. I don't think Trayvon Walker's going to fall this low, but we've seen crazier things happen also. I
Excuse
just
me.
think that there's enough value later on in this draft that you could potentially be okay with taking Hamilton here and then get someone else that you still would be okay with at 13 as well.
So for time's sake, JJ, you're not moving on your pick.
I don't want to be a butthole and say no, but I don't
Hey,
feel too convinced to do so.
That's
no,
part.
I'm
Of, hey, that's
saying.
part of the game we playing, man. Hey,
I'm gonna
I'm-
stick with it.
I'm gonna keep Kyle
I
Hamilton on the
definitely hear
board.
What y'all say. What y'all are saying, though.
All right,
Game
Benjamin.
speed matters more than
All
track
right,
speed.
so
I'll leave it at that.
I feel like there's 2 directions. There's 2 directions that the Jets go in here.
Mhm.
And because Iquanu is out there, it makes it more inclining to go with offensive tackle, but that's not nearly as fun. So I'm gonna say they take Garrett Wilson here.
I love it.
I
Because
could see that.
I think they look at what happened with Burrow and Chase last year, and everybody were like, oh, they should have taken the offensive lineman. Fast forward to them making the Super Bowl with Burrow and Chase. So I think the Jets probably take a hard look at that. You also just need to give Zach Wilson weapons if you're going to have any chance of him succeeding. That's not to say they won't go offensive line at some point, which they should. They should find value.
They have a pick
later,
at 10 too, so
find value, but they need. I think a true difference maker would make all the difference. That's a little redundant, but would make
I'm
all the difference for
imagining
the Jets.
Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore on the outside. Ooh,
The Wilson to Wilson connection sounds fun. I like it.
yeah. Any
And I think
disagreements?
because I think it goes back to they got that pick at 10.
Mhm.
I think that Aquanu will be gone, but I think Charles Cross might still be there.
Mhm.
I think that you can still. I think I think this fits better with their like for this team a little bit more, because I don't know that they need as much as some of these other teams. Like, I know that sounds crazy. I think the Jets have a decent foundation, They just got to hit on some picks, especially in this particular draft.
I could agree. Yeah, I'd say so. I think offensive line is going to be a thing of certain guys have to stay healthy, like Mekhi Becton. He's been hurt. I swear that man has missed like every game in his career so far. And I know how good he is, but if he can stay healthy, which is why I think I will say that I probably, if it was me, I probably would have went Ekwonu here. But at the same time, I can't be mad at that Garrett Wilson pick.
I think it's gonna be. I'd say it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Kind of. It's like a 50-50 because I think either going either direction helps them quite a bit in the same kind of general area. It's just what I guess what they value, and I think when you're coming maybe at 10, again, maybe you go Ekwonu here, and at 10 you still are looking at one of the top guys because you're sitting ahead of Washington, who I'm 100% convinced will take a wide receiver, and I don't know who's picking for them, but if you pick anyone other than a wide receiver,
that's me. Oh,
I don't know. I think you can make the case to pick other things, but we've gone. Well, I'll get into that when we get to Washington. But you're sitting ahead of Washington and a few other teams that are probably going to go for a receiver or could lean into receiver. So maybe you still nab your guy. Go Ekwonu here. Yep. See if you can get both. Otherwise though, you might if you don't take your receiver here, you might be looking at a Washington or somebody who wants to move up and get a receiver they really like ahead of the Jets there. I don't know.
I also think that the Falcons, the Giants could also, either one of those could take wide receivers.
Yeah.
For you at 10. So you may end up looking at, Garrett going off the board at 7. You could look at Drake London going off the board at 8. And then all of a sudden you're at 10. And like, Jameson Williams is great. I love Jameson Williams. I think he's a great prospect. But he's coming off a knee injury, all that kind of stuff. And like, I think locking down the number 1 wide receiver is probably the smart move in this draft.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, nothing. I'll save that for when he gets picked.
Okay. Well, if there's no more disagreements or any more comments, then we can move on to number 5. Christian Hartley, you are on the board with the 5th pick. I should have had that playing in the background.
Ikem Ekwonu. I don't know that I need to say much else. Giants need help on the offensive line.
Yeah.
He's the best available player here right now. I think if he slips to them at 5, that's a no-brainer.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that. Anybody?
Nope.
Nope.
Makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
Bet.
short and sweet.
I was about to hit Malik Willis on accident. All right. Speaking of Malik Willis, I'm gonna go ahead and get him up off the board right here with the Panthers pick. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking it is gonna slip to 8 to the Falcons, but at hearing what's his jackass's name used to coach for McAdoo say what he said about Sam Darnold during their press conference and saying, I shouldn't have said that Sam Darnold was going to be the starting quarterback next year. It's obvious he doesn't have long near Carolina. Plus, he's not that good. I'm iffy about Malik Willis, his talent, or what he's going to be in the NFL and how he's going to turn out. But eventually, some team is going to take a risk in his top 10 at quarterback, and if it's any team here that's going to do it, it's going to be the Panthers. So I'm going Malik Willis there at 6.
Is this what you would do, or you think this is what they're going to do?
This what I would do here. I think I kind of would do this, but I know this. I figure this is what the Panthers are gonna do. I could see myself doing this if I was picking here, which I know some people would say is risky, but his upside is
right there, and the Seahawks right there.
Yeah, because you can't
really trade back.
I'm sorry, I don't think Kenny Pickett is a top 20 pick in this. He's going to be, but I don't think talent-wise he is a top 20 pick. And if you trading up for Kenny Pickett, I feel like it's a waste of. I'm gonna say it. I feel like it's a waste of time, and I feel like it's a waste of resources to do that when you have Sam Darnold there. Like, if I'm gonna take a risk on a quarterback here in this draft, I'm gonna take a risk with the most exciting prospect here. So I will go Malik Willis.
I think you either take high upside on Willis here, or you wait till maybe later in the second round and you trade back up and you go and get Desmond Ridder. because I think that's the thing. You have to take high upside at this quarterback position, and I don't think Kenny Pickett has it. I think the other two have more upside. Kenny Pickett might be more ready to start right now, which is why I think he can fit for a certain team, maybe in those, that I don't know, that 16 to like 25 range. There's probably a team that could make Kenny Pickett this year's Mac Jones. That can be relatively competitive right now. And I mean, I don't know if that's a compliment, but anyway, that's my thought.
Yep. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I agree with it. I would have made the same pick.
Yeah.
All right, bet. I'm going to go with Malik Willis here. And we're going to move on to Baxley. Back again, this time with the Giants pick at 7.
Look, the Giants are having a great draft because I'm going to take Trayvon Walker. And I think they just got 2 of the top 4 players in this draft. They get arguably the best tackle. I mean, it's between him and Evan Neal. I think they're relatively close. And then I think they got arguably one of the best edge rushers. Probably one. It's easy top 3. It's him, Kayvon, or Aiden Hutchinson. Getting both of those guys is unreal in a draft because I think Trayvon is going to go 1 or 2. I think Ekwonu might not even be on the board when they pick at 5. And so to get both of those guys in this draft is insane. So yeah, I'll take Trayvon Walker here. Look, I watched him play, I think, every single snap in college, and then I watched him when he was in high school. He went to Upson Lee, which is right down the road from me. I had a chance to see him play in high school. He's just unreal. Like, he's a freak athlete. He moves like a deer, so to speak. Like, he's fast, he's powerful, he can get there. But what amazes me with him is he can drop back into coverage. He can run stop. He can do all of it. So the things that you worry about with an edge rusher coming out of college, Daryl, you and I talked a couple days ago about why Jadeveon Clowney, they tried to make him into something he wasn't. Then that's what, once they kind of let him be his own person, he kind of morphed into it. I think with Trayvon, he's so versatile that you don't have that problem. You can let him do what he wants to do from day one. Or if you try to put him as somebody that can go stop the run, he can go do that. If you need him to go rush the passer, he can go do that. You need him to drop into, he can go do that. Like, he has everything that you want in a pro. Now, I told Hartley this last night. I don't think he's somebody I would take with 1 or 2. But if I can get him at 7, I got to be the best GM in the world.
I
have no problem with this pick here.
I would go Thibodeau just based on production, but I think Walker, like Baxley said, we talked about it. I don't take him at 1 or 2, but at 7, it's him or Thibodeau. It's a toss-up.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't rule out Sauce Gardner because that's another one that's really good value. So.
Even though Sauce Gardner would be a good addition, but I think the Giants taking a cornerback this early would kind of be pointless because I think they're pretty solid at corner.
They need pass rush and they need pass protection. And run blocking, and so they check both of those boxes with their first 2 picks.
Any objections? All right, sounds good. Taking Trayvon Walker with the 7th pick. All right, at number 8, we have. Oh, this is perfect because Hartley joined in here. JJ gets the 8th pick.
Big shout out to you, Hartley, for joining this draft.
I got you. I knew that. That's why I did.
Damn.
Go legend. So
I don't know who I'm picking for the Seahawks.
What are you talking about, Bib?
I know that there's been a lot of, especially with the recent situation with Calvin Ridley, there's been a lot of talk about the Falcons taking a wide receiver here. Daryl, you took Malik Willis with the Panthers pick there, which I think makes a lot of sense, especially as was pointed out, the teams like the Falcons sitting back there. But I honestly do think that the Falcons are going to, at a minimum, if they do take a quarterback this year, I think it won't be this pick, and I think that they'll at least ride out Mariota for at least this season and look to a quarterback class down the line. And even though they're in desperate need of wide receiver, I'm confident that with them having 2 picks in the 2nd round, they can get a quality wide receiver in the 2nd round. The Atlanta Falcons had the fewest total in the league last year, 18 sacks.
As a team?
Grady Jarrett is in the final year of his contract. and is not showing up
Oh
to
shit.
voluntary team workouts. Everything is saying, Atlanta, do not mess this up. Take Kayvon Thibodeau if he is sitting right there at number 8.
Mhm.
Don't overthink it. Don't I understand that there's been a lot of talk about his Kayvon and this, that, the other. Do not second guess yourself. Do not overthink this. You need some help. I think if they had not signed Casey Hayward a couple weeks ago, which I really think that was a decent pickup there, I think there is a strong chance that they go either Sauce Gardner here if he's still there, or Derek Stingley, maybe Andrew Booth. But Atlanta, if Kayvon Thibodeau is there, just take the pick. I don't need to see the timer on draft night get past a minute on this. Take the pick. Kayvon Thibodeau at 8. That's all I gotta
Agreed.
say.
I'm
Agreed.
Thank you.
rethrowing the challenge flag on pick 3 because that man just wanted his edge rusher to get to the Falcons. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's a great pick,
I didn't
JJ.
think about that. Appreciate it.
No, that's a good pick. I think that's the right call. Look, he's dynamic. He's probably just as high a ceiling as Trayvon Walker, maybe higher. I think the Falcons need, as Jerry Jones likes to call him, a war daddy that can go and sack the quarterback. Man, that's what
daddy.
his term is.
That-
That's his favorite term is war daddy. And Kayvon can be the Falcons' war daddy.
No.
Say War Daddy again. I'm going to give you a server mute.
All right, no objections. Kayvon Thibodeau is
Great
going
pick.
8.
Great.
All right.
All right. So what I think the Seahawks actually do here is I think they probably trade back. I think they're in a perfect spot to trade back. You've got.
Do you have any trade in mind specifically?
I mean, I'm not gonna actually I'm gonna pick a pick for them. I'm just saying I think that they are in a perfect spot to trade back a little bit. If you're looking at, especially if the first round plays out kind of like this, like you're looking at some of the top corners sliding here. You're looking at the top corner sliding here. Maybe somebody really likes Sauce Gardner. Maybe you've still got probably a couple of the top wide receiver options here. Somebody, again, maybe somebody's trying to hop ahead of one of these other teams that's getting a little receiver. I don't know. I think they're in a good spot to trade back a little bit. But if they have to stay in and take a pick here, also because if they've got their eyes on Kenny Pickett a little later, I doubt they do. He doesn't seem like a Pete Carroll type quarterback to me. But if you got your eyes on Kenny Pickett, maybe you're looking at Desmond Ridder a little bit later. Trading back here seems like the move. But with all that being said, if they are to take a player here, I really think you just have to take best available. I think if you're the Seahawks, you probably take best available. I don't know that you really love anyone quite enough, like at any of your positional needs. Like maybe you like Charles Cross, maybe you don't. I think they go Sauce Gardner if they stay in there. Take best available. You have enough flexibility to do that. I don't think you need to reach on a quarterback. There's no real reason to do it. But they also have nobody playing quarterback. They have Drew Lock, so.
No, they have they brought their boy Geno Smith back, man.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna. So maybe he probably will start a couple of games, but I also don't think there's any reason to reach on a quarterback, and I think that's why trading back will probably look appealing to them because they can still trade back, and maybe they look at targeting Desmond Ridder or Pickett a little later on. Maybe they even go for Sam Howell. In the second round, who's to say? But Matt Corral too. Like
also, Ben, I just wanted to interject for a second.
If they like him, but
if you want to take somebody that's not on this immediate list, I can scroll down, or y'all could throw a pick out of fucking left field if y'all feel the need to, or if y'all want to.
Oh no, I really do think they're in a really good spot to trade back for guys.
Good thing the Falcons have already picked, because Lord knows they're the team that would come out of left field and take. I don't know. Ire Elam and
some shit.
Pick. I don't know.
I know. Seahawks taking Breece Hall at pick 9. You heard it first.
I'll become a full-time Bills fan if that happens.
I guess.
Bills Mafia.
So who has been taking?
Taking Sauce Gardner because but I really just I don't know that they stay in and pick there. They trade, they're also one of the like teams most who are most prone to the trade back, and now they're picking in the top 10. I don't know, trade back, get a couple
They're-
extra picks.
They're also the most prone to taking the wildest people on the board.
The wildest people, but I think if you're gonna take someone wild, why not just trade back a little bit?
I agree, but was it Bruce Irvin they took in the first round one year because they just really liked how fast he was, and he had like a third round grade, and then he played like he had a third round grade. You just never know what the Seahawks are gonna do.
Nah, but I do like that Sauce Gardner pick.
Yeah.
If they do pick there, if they don't take Sauce Gardner, if he's available at 9, and maybe I understand Charles Cross. I can see them doing. I can see them reaching for Trevor Penning, which I have my opinions on him when he gets drafted, but we'll get to that later. But Chris.
Into the,
yeah. Anyway, Ben, you're going Sauce.
I'm going Sauce Gardner.
Yep. Anybody disagree?
No, I don't necessarily disagree with the pick. I take more stock into what Ben said. If somehow this does play out exactly how we predicted it, I see Seattle trading back. I agree with that.
Well, all right then. I'm back up at 10.
I think it's me.
Wait, no, it's you. I can't do math. Yes, Hartley. There you go.
You're good. I'm very torn here. I think they probably go receiver. I lean Drake London because they've already got the speed on the outside with
receiver back to back.
Slot. Did they already go receiver? I'm sorry.
I took Garrett Wilson for him.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then, Ooh, this could be a reach, but I'm gonna go. The Jets had the 3rd worst pass defense in the NFL last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Derek Stingley Jr.
Well, I like it.
And I think he's got. I'm gonna say he's got a higher ceiling than Sauce Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sauce Gardner is the guy that's ready more right now. But the Jets need help at cornerback. I could easily see them going Charles Cross here. I could see them going Jermaine Johnson. But I think Derek Stingley has the higher ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna go Derek Stingley. But again, though, I'm not sold. I'm not 100%. So if anybody disagrees,
Let's say if anybody wants to throw the challenge flag here.
I like that.
I like it. Look, I think Stingley, I think you're right. Spot on. He's got the higher ceiling of the two corners. Gardner's probably the guy I would take over him just because the floor's there. But if we're talking ceiling, and at 10, like I think you can take that risk. Cross would be a good pick. I like Jermaine Johnson there. You really can't go wrong with the 3 guys at the top. It's just more about where you think their need fits, and I think getting a corner, getting arguably the top corner in this draft, and getting the top wide receiver, it's hard to argue.
A guy that his freshman year was. A lot of people said if he had come out after his freshman year, he couldn't. But if he had, he would have been a top 3 pick then. Obviously, deals with injuries in the COVID year. I just think he's a guy that if he pans out, you're looking at a lockdown cornerback for 10, 12 years. So
okay, well that's if everybody's in agreement, or if nobody is in an argumentative mood about that pick, I will move on to the Washington Commanders. Now I could get very stupid with this pick, but you know what? I'm not going to. He's on the board here. I think I have guys an argument for being the top receiver in this draft. I think I'm going to go with Drake London here at 11. Like Ben said earlier, they need a receiver to be opposite of Terry McLaurin. I would say that I think they would have took a quarterback or reached for a quarterback if they didn't trade for Carson Wentz. Now that they have traded for him, if you've ever listened to me talk about Carson Wentz, then y'all know my opinions on him. But at the end of the day, at worst, he's a good stopgap option for Washington to where they can punt to taking a quarterback next year in a stronger quarterback class. I think you go receiver here, build up your weapons. You're pretty solid at running back. If I'm forgetting his name right now, when I take him like every year in fantasy, can stay healthy. Help me out here.
Gibson.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson. If he can stay healthy, you're solid at running back. And J.D. McKissick has been pretty good. Getting a receiver here like Drake London would shore up the outside for you. Offensive line, it could be better. I mean, they just lost Scherf, but I mean, I
don't think we're taking anyone other than a receiver here. I think you can make the case to take a few people here. Again, if Kyle Hamilton falls, if Stingley falls, you can make the case, but I think like we've taken defense 4 out of the last 5 drafts. Like it's like we've built a pretty decent defense, and they started to play a lot better towards the end of the season last year. At this, like, if you want Carson Wentz to succeed, you need to get him weapons, get him help, take a wide receiver, whoever you like the most. I don't love Drake London. I'm just not a fan of big-bodied wide receivers, like guys who can't really separate, who like rely on catch radius to make catches, and sometimes that works out, but like I feel like for the most part, all of the successful guys in the NFL who are like that, who fit that profile, can also still separate from the line of scrimmage. And I don't know, don't love Drake London for that, but I also don't know who you take over. I don't think you take Jameson Williams here.
Do you like Olave over London?
Oh, it depends if Washington likes him. They probably like him as a route runner, his ability to separate, just not obviously a different type of receiver than London. I'd love Garrett Wilson for them, but I don't know that he makes it to them. And so yeah, I think it's London or Olave if they like for Washington here. So I guess I don't disagree with the pick. I just don't like it, you know.
Fair. Any other debate about the pick? All right, bet. I guess we'll just go ahead and lock in Drake London then. All right, Baxley, you're on the board with number 12.
Hey, that's me. This one's tough because I think there's 2 guys I really like here. Man, I don't know. This one's tough, and I've seen a lot of mocks go both ways on this. Kind of go back and forth on these guys. I'm gonna take Jermaine Johnson, another really good war daddy, that can serve to be a really solid edge rusher.
Ben, go ahead and get that server mute ready.
No, I won't do it any worse. Anyway, I think the Vikings are a team that needs a lot of things.
Everything other than
they need
running
everything. So the two other guys I was looking at, Charles Cross and the corner, McDuffie. Because I think McDuffie can be, you can move him around on the field. You can be, you can have him be a nickel, be a corner, and be safety. Whatever you need him to do, he can do it. I really like him a lot. But I think Jermaine Johnson, in a draft where the edge rushers are coming off the board pretty quickly, I think it's good to go ahead and lock one of those guys down. And what it allows them to do is gives them flexibility to move Danielle Hunter and Zadarius Smith around. So I like adding him. I think he gives you some of that ability too to move him around as well.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Any arguments about that pick? Objections? Nope. All right.
I don't have an objection. I would just say don't sleep on Jordan Davis there. They need somebody to anchor down.
That's who I was looking at there.
Defensive line.
That's another good one. Yeah.
I don't think they go with him there. I think he slips to like the mid first round. Not slips, but you know what I'm saying. But I just would not be shocked. That's probably what I would do if I was them.
That's fair. Yeah.
All right. JJ, you're on the board with Houston.
Picking for Houston again. That worked out well.
Picking for Houston again. Oh boy. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not really too sure who I want to take here. There's a lot of good offensive linemen left. I know it. I know I picked with. I had the Kyle Hamilton pick. I don't think they'll go defensive side of the football twice. To be honest with you, if he had not hurt himself, he wouldn't still be on the board. But I don't know, man. I don't think Houston can really go too wrong here in this track because it needs so much of everything.
You think Jamison comes off the board this early?
See, that's my dilemma. I don't think Houston is in a position to where they can afford to take Jameson and just have him wait out him recovering from his injury. But at the same time, Houston's not going is not knock on the door of contention anytime soon either. And the
Mhm.
upside for Jameson Williams is so freaking high.
Quick,
Um,
quick
I think
question.
I think that would be I would think that would be more of a reason that would be
Yeah,
more of a reason that
'cause
they
Take
could
him.
take a chance on them. They know they're not going to be
Yeah.
competitive for a while. It just really depends on if you'd rather take a receiver. If
Mhm.
you're going to take a receiver, would you rather take one who plays sooner and helps Davis Mills develop
Yeah.
sooner, or would you rather just wait on the guy who could potentially be the best one out of everybody in the
Mhm.
class?
So real
Yeah.
quick, and obviously JJ can pick. When JJ made that third pick, who did he take?
Kyle
Oh,
Hamilton.
Kyle
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Okay, and the reason you took Kyle Hamilton was because you said I will probably be able to get one of those top offensive linemen at 13, and so
That's a
that's why
good
you
point.
didn't go Ikem Ekwonu, why you didn't get
Mhm.
Thibodeau or Walker, I believe, whichever one was not there.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Obviously, the edge rushers are gone, but Charles
Mhm.
Cross is still sitting there. So
Exactly.
what? The
He
third
is.
third offensive lineman in this class. You get him
Mhm.
at 13. I think that's what he's ranked, right?
Yep.
Third.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just
Mhm.
recalling back the logic from the third.
Yeah,
pick.
it was
And I
the third pick was I'll take Kyle Hamilton because I can pair him with a elite defensive guy because I don't think Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner, one of them will still be there, and I think that Jermaine Johnson, one of the edge rushers, still be there. So none of those guys are there, but you do still have Charles Cross there. So I agree with
do
Hartley.
still have
That's
Charles
a
Cross
good
there.
point.
Yeah, I do. I do. You know what? For the sake of time,
This would be a really good place to pick Kyle
um,
Hamilton.
this is a really good place to pick Kyle Hamilton. But see, if I hadn't picked Kyle Hamilton probably would be gone by now.
Who's taking Kyle Hamilton?
Promise you, it wouldn't have been me.
You wouldn't have been drafting him to the Falcons, and that would be Falcons are the only other team I see taking Kyle Hamilton.
Okay.
Well,
I would have
I mean-
considered him at 12. I'll give JJ that. I would have considered him at 12, but I'd have probably taken McDuffie over him.
You know what? With this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take Charles Cross. I'll take Charles
Hartley
Cross. yeah.
bullied that man.
I didn't bully him. I was just saying that
Nah,
what
bro.
he said would happen, and it did happen.
Well, I think
Just
everybody's gotten
not
out their
the-
thoughts about that pick there, so I guess we're just gonna ride with it at that point. Going to number 14, Ben picking for the Ravens.
So again, another team that I feel like actually trade back candidate. Now, the question here is, do you trade back with the Steelers at 20 and let someone in your own division get the quarterback that they want? And the answer to that is yes, you do,
Mhm.
because you let them you let them tie themselves to Kenny Pickett for minimum like 3 years, 4 years, who probably will be fine, maybe will be fine. And if he's going to succeed anywhere, I feel like the Steelers are a great spot for him to succeed. But he's also such a gamble on whether he's going to succeed or not, and he's really not all that good. Like, I feel like if you're the Ravens, you feel comfortable knowing that you've still got probably the best quarterback in the division. And you make them pay for it to get ahead of the Saints, who could very well be eyeballing the same guy. Now, again, going to make a pick for them if they are to stay in here
Mhm.
and give them Jordan Davis.
Oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah.
They really could use pass rush. They could really use help on the inside. They actually have a pretty decent secondary. The makings are pretty. I actually think McDuffie again is another kind of dark horse. And if you trade back with like the Steelers, McDuffie maybe around 20. If nobody potentially, the Ravens could be eyeballing that as well. I think he'd fit in defensively with them too. But
Mhm.
they stay in like Jordan Davis and get some help stopping the run. They also have kind of poor run defense too. And yeah.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I think seeing Jordan Davis run, what was it, a 4.640? 4.740? I can't remember. Being that big. Also seeing the amount of weight that he's lost over the last couple of months from, I mean, you even, me and Baxo would talk about this all the time. He was unplayable in that SEC championship game against Alabama. One of the main reasons why he lost is to come off the field every 2 plays. He was just out of shape. Which Kirby Smart made the whole team run basically the whole time after that game, which ended up helping them out, helped them win the national championship. But if Jordan Davis can keep his weight under control, I definitely think that's a great pick here at 14. I think that's the main reason why he slipped that far, is that I feel like some teams have concerns about him doing that. But he's such a freak athlete at that size
I
that,
just think he's
like,
he's a nose tackle. I wouldn't take him
Yeah.
that high.
Mm.
I just wouldn't. He's a nose tackle. He's not a three down
He's a
lineman.
nose. He's a nose tackle that had stellar talent everywhere
Mm.
around him. Like
Yes.
you
There's
could
also a
double
good
team
point.
him, but then you got Devontae White, you got Nolan Smith, you got Trayvon Walker,
Devontae
N'Kobe
White's the
Dean.
better. Devontae White's the better defensive tackle from Georgia. I would take Devontae White over Jordan Davis all day, every day.
Mhm.
Unless you run a 3-4 like the Ravens do, and you need a nose tackle to clog up run gaps.
That's fair.
Mhm.
He is a good fit for the Ravens. I would
Yeah.
not take him this early.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm a
don't think
Georgia fan.
I don't think the Ravens take him this early, but I gotta give them.
You think the
somebody.
Ravens trade back? That's
I
not
think the
right.
Ravens trade back. I think Steelers are probably eyeballing the 2 Saints picks ahead of them. Now maybe they trade with Philadelphia and get ahead of them at 16. Who knows? But I think the Ravens look for a trade back if they can't
Yeah.
because I don't think they love anybody here enough, and I also don't think they need anybody here enough that they wouldn't just be better off trading back a little.
All right, then I guess we will go with Jordan Davis at 14. This would be Hartley with pick 15. Am I right with that? Yeah.
Yep, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Jamison Williams here. This will be the third straight year the Eagles have gone receiver in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. They need so much help at receiver for Jalen Hurts. They need speed, verified speed, and I think Jamison Williams gives them that. I could easily see them going Chris Olave here, by the way, easily. I just personally like Jamison Williams more. Baxley won't like this. I think the second he went out of the Georgia game, that game was over. The second he went out of it, it was over for Alabama. They had nobody else like him. Georgia didn't have an answer for him. That was it. And so I take Jamison Williams here. I think he's a game changer. I think he's speed, quickness. He reminds me a lot of Kadarius Toney, but he's a lot faster than Kadarius Toney was. And so give me Jamison Williams at 15.
Okay.
I think
I like the
Olave is
pick
the best fit.
My only issue with Olave is his sideline awareness as a receiver is fucking terrible.
I also feel like Olave, I don't know, is closer in mold to what Devontae Smith does than to what Jamison Williams does.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you put Devontae Smith on the outside, you got Jamison Williams in the slot. I mean, that's a great tandem. I mean, Olave is another outside threat. So, I mean, I guess you'd have 2 of those, but I think, again, slot receivers are really good in the NFL.
Another one where the question comes into play, like, are the Eagles willing to ride it out without him for a little bit and let Hurts go without Williams for a little bit, or again, do they want to get somebody who helps Hurts?
Well, how long is Williams supposed to be out?
He should be back soon. I mean, the NFL starts in what? He tore his ACL in December.
I thought they said November was like they were expecting him back, like they were targeting November.
About halfway through the season is what I'd heard.
Yeah, so like November-ish or so.
Well,
Unless
the
that's
Eagles.
changed.
I haven't heard anything about his injury status in like weeks, so I can't.
End of March, he was ahead of schedule. So I don't know exactly what that means.
So probably late October, mid to late October, if he's ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
I can dig it. I mean, I'm always weary about taking receivers with knee issues, but
especially one that relies so much on his speed.
Yeah, but at the same time,
he's quoted here as saying he's got a 5 to 7 month span on when the recovery is going to go. I don't know.
And that was in March. So 5 months would be August. 7 months would be
August to October. Yeah.
So that's within the first few weeks of the season.
So
I feel like that's optimistic, though. To think he's going to be back in the first few weeks of the season is probably a little optimistic. But I mean, ACL is not the same injury it was anymore. It used to be, but
yeah. but you also don't want to rush something like that. It's one of the main reasons why it's not as impactful as it used to be, because more, what's the word for it? More doctors are more weary about rushing a guy back on the field just because their knee feels okay. Which I know the Eagles won't do. You're not gonna fuck up your first pick by playing him too early, if he's not ready yet. So yeah, I'd say I'd agree with the Jameson Williams pick. I can see the case for Chris Olave, but
I just like Jameson better.
I like
was
Jameson
between
as a
those
receiver
two.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other objections?
I mean, there's mock drafts that have him going, top 10. So to get him at 15 is great.
I've seen some with them top 10 and then some falling to the end of the first round. It's crazy.
There was at one point people were talking about that he was rising up boards to become like the number 1 or number 2 receiver on a lot of teams' boards. Which I don't know if he goes top 10, but I think yeah, that 11 to 16 or so range. I mean, I could see the Saints taking him. If the Eagles don't take him, I could see the Saints taking him.
That's why the Eagles take him, because if he's there at 16, I think maybe not, because I don't know.
They take Pickett. Well, they take Pickett with 1 pick, and then they take a wide receiver with the other pick.
The other one.
That's my, because there's another team here. The Chargers are in that range who, before signing Mike Williams, I thought they were a candidate to take a receiver in this draft. I think that Mike Williams contract is bad, and they're going to regret that. But I digress. Anyway.
All right, so Jameson Williams at 15, and at 16, this is interesting for me because no team is going to take a quarterback between 16 and 19 other than the Saints, right? Unless somebody was to trade up, but we're not mocking trades here. But this is going to be a little bit controversial, and I don't even like him as a player necessarily, but they were terrible they lost their best tackle this offseason. And if they're going to bring in a quarterback, you obviously want the blind side to be protected. Now, this offensive tackle that I'm looking at here has a habit of throwing, his matchup into quarterback's legs and things of that nature. But I would also use the logic that I think an offensive lineman coach in the NFL would be able to work on his technique. He is a very strong player. He's a very mobile offensive lineman. I do think he has a habit of being too grabby because he's so big. He thinks he can wrestle everybody down and is going to end up getting a lot of holding calls. But I think that now I know that Chris Olave is here at 16, and they do need a receiver because can't guard Mike, can't stay healthy. But see, I have them taking Pickett at 19. Well, personally, I have them taking Pickett at 19.
If they pass on Pickett at 16, I don't rule out the Steelers jumping up to 17 or 18.
See, now that's a good
usurping
point.
Pickett though.
And I don't think that they take
Pickett at all.
Huh?
I don't know that they want a quarterback at all. I think they think that Jameis.
They re-signed Jameis, didn't they?
Jameis. Yeah, I think they think Jameis is fine in these 2 picks. I think these 2 picks are going to be to try to help Jameis win right now.
I don't know about that. I think they've been linked to. I don't think they're tying themselves to Jameis Winston. I wouldn't tie yourself to Jameis Winston.
I'm gonna say this: Jameis was good last year before he got hurt. Also,
Jameis was
you only have him
last year before he got hurt.
Yeah, but is Kenny Pickett really worth taking a leap over somebody that actually has throw power and can make the throws?
That depends on how the Steelers view it, though. I mean, supposedly they're in on Baker, or they're interested in Baker. The Browns just don't want to trade him there.
I mean, they obviously
I don't know why you would be interested in Baker if you feel that good about Jameis.
You talking about the Saints?
No, I'm talking about the Steelers.
No, I'm talking about the Saints have Jameis.
Oh, the Saints have Jameis?
Yeah, they re-signed Jameis.
Oh,
for extra year.
Oh my gosh, my brain went the wrong.
It's the mustache.
But
I know.
I think here I have to think about this. The Chargers aren't taking a receiver. The Eagles, if they're going to take Jameson Williams, aren't taking Olave. I mean, in my mind, they wouldn't. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. So I think Olave is still going to be available at 19. They need offensive line help. I'm not the biggest fan of this dude, but I'm going to go Trevor Penning here with the 16th pick.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's a bust. But I
I do too, but at the same time, I think a team is going to take a leap on him because what he
I
what he
agree.
could possibly be if he's not a dickhead throwing, edge rushers and the
Are you
quarterbacks.
giving them Trevor Penning?
Yep.
He's got all the intangibles to be good. He just screams bust to me.
He
Yeah.
screams huddle tape
Caleb McGarry.
all-star. Yeah.
He's Caleb McGarry.
But I still think
As
they
long
take
as they
him
don't
there
show
at
us
16.
a video package of him shooting his dog or whatever ESPN did for old buddy. God, that was all time bad.
Yeah. But
like
if there's no objections, let's go ahead and lock it in. Can move on to Baxley with the 17th pick.
Oh, there's two guys I like here. Maybe three.
To be honest,
I'm gonna go Chris Olave because
Mm-hmm.
I like pairing him with Justin Herbert. Look, I think that he needs a deep threat. I like him a lot. I would have actually taken Jameson Williams here if I'd had the opportunity. So I was always going wide receiver. I think Chris Olave is my pick here.
See, I might have to. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
I'm not gonna throw the challenge flag yet, but what I will say is that do they take? No, I'm just posing the question here because I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. But my only hold up about them taking Olave is that it's obvious that they have a lot of confidence in Mike Williams giving them all that money. And obviously, what's his name is a lot.
Red zone threat.
But that's not how
I'm forgetting everybody's name.
Mike Williams is a red zone threat that they just paid. They just paid
max money,
what, like $20 million a year to.
Yeah. So it's just I don't.
I agree that he's a red zone threat, and I don't think because if you look, he hasn't had a year. Even with Herbert, he didn't have a year anywhere close to last year, and he really tailed off like after he exploded.
Like
Between Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, do you think that they take a third receiver here instead of just looking internally to somebody who could be just a decent slot
They
option?
have guys who can
Josh Palmer,
Jalen Guyton, guys who can who can be deep threats.
I get what you're saying for sure.
I mean, I'm not.
I just think Chris Olave is the talent that he again in a division where you're going to have to score points because of who else is in that division with Russell Wilson and all his weapons that he'll have. You've got Patrick Mahomes and all the weapons he's going to have. Derek Carr has got tons of weapons now too with Devontae Adams and Darren Waller. I just think that I think this team might be the most balanced already. You either have to go defensive guy, like I looked at Devin Lloyd, and I also looked at Trent McDuffie, but I just think that getting Olave and making sure you have three really good wide receivers for Justin Herbert, I think is the right call.
Keenan
Allen's getting older.
That is true. My only holdup is the Mike Williams contract, but I can't come up with a full-fledged argument as to why, with everybody else that's on the board that's available here and with their needs, maybe Wyatt here, but
they need interior defensive line help, and I think Wyatt makes a lot of sense.
Wyatt would have made a ton of sense, yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, I can't. Definitely with the way the league is moving on to being has moved on to being such a pass heavy league, I could see a team that already has two elite receivers taking another one just to have this kind of like the Bengals with Boyd, Chase, and
the success of it.
What's his name?
I mean,
I'm forgetting everybody's name today. Holy shit!
The Rams did very similar last year.
Yeah,
they had great receivers. They got Odell,
Van, Robert Woods before he got hurt, and then
that seems to be
Kupp.
the direction that teams are trending. It's getting a really, really good third wide receiver. We've seen that trend over the last few years with teams. I'll say the Cowboys because they've done it. They had Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. They went and had to go draft CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, only then to what trade
Cooper. But I think they'll get another wide receiver in this draft. Perhaps George Pickens in the second round. That's a pipe dream. But anyway, I just think the teams are starting to prioritize potentially getting those elite third option wide receivers, and I think Olave is a phenomenal one for the Chargers.
All right, then I
I don't know.
guess I'm kind
Throw the
of
challenge flag. I'm willing to hear it.
see. I'm unsure, but I'm not in full disagreement. That's where I'm at. I don't know about Christian and Ben, but that's where I'm at.
Actually, ain't changing his mind.
I will if you give me a compelling.
I mean, if y'all want to throw out the
more than
challenge
happy
flag,
to
ain't
hear
nothing
it,
but
yeah.
pressure and opportunity.
I'm not throwing the challenge flag.
I'm not throwing
All
the
right.
challenge flag either.
Thank
But
All right then.
All right,
if
then.
you're not
I know-
willing to throw the challenge flag, then don't say anything about it, Ben.
I'm ready on
I
draft
know.
day to just say
I-
you're wrong.
I know Ben's gonna make some ridiculously outlandish pick at some point, and so I'm reserving the challenge flag.
I mean, you get two. Remember that you get two before
got
you
it.
get.
I think Ben's probably got 2 more picks, right? There we go.
Yeah, it's gonna get real spicy when Baxley drops out. I feel like, but either way, JJ is back just in time to make his pick here at 18. The Philadelphia Eagles making the second pick of the round. They've already taken Jameson Williams at 15. So,
Ideal scenario for the Eagles here, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Oh yeah, sure go.
My bad. Okay. So just to be clear here, who do we settle on at 17 for the Chargers?
Olave.
Olave.
Chris Olave. Okay, then. Gotcha. All right. The Eagles at 18. There's still a lot of good options on the board here. I like the fact that they signed Hassan Riddick to bolster sort of their front seven recently. Of course, we all know they got Darius Slade playing as their lead defensive back out there. I'm not too sold on the Eagles safety core, so that would lead me towards someone like maybe a Daxton Hill potentially, but I'm not going to go there. I know that they could address this in free agency or the draft next year, but I'm also a big proponent of looking kind of down the line and seeing who you could potentially lose in the next season. And they have both Fletcher Cox, long-term Philadelphia Eagle, and Javon Hargrave, who are both due to become free agents next season. So with that in mind, I think that they go ahead and bolster that front seven even further, and they take Devontae Wyatt, interior defensive lineman out of UGA.
Perfect pick. Makes all the sense in the world.
This is another pick where I'm not going to throw the challenge flag because I'm not necessarily disagreeing with the pick there. But I think that I know, they do have Darius Slade, but that's literally their only like legit corner that they have. And so right here, and they also do need safety help, which is why I like McDuffie here with that pick better. But at the same time, like you said, Fletcher Cox could be on the way out, especially if they don't win this year, which I don't see them doing that. So why not?
Yeah, I'm good with Wyatt.
I also do just want to oh actually no, that's another stat that I have for something else. But go ahead.
Okay. But
Yep.
Any disagreements?
Lock it in.
Put it on the board.
Now we have Goldberg. Yeah, Ben. There you go. Pick number 19 for the Saints.
So here's the thing. Do we think they like Kenny Pickett, or do you think they let him go? Steelers get him at 20. If the Saints aren't taking Pickett, he may well just slide to the Steelers at 20.
Well, the thing with Jameis last year is that when he was great, he was damn near elite. When he was bad, he was Jameis Winston. So that's you're taking a risk, but they only have him signed for 1 year. So obviously they believe in him enough to give him a chance before they give him a big contract if that's in the future for him. So really thinking about it, I don't think they take Pickett here, in my opinion.
I think what's now convinced me though too is like the thought that if you strike out with Jameis this year, then you're going to be in contention for one of the quarterbacks next year. And supposedly they traded these picks with the Eagles they swapped picks with the Eagles because they supposedly believe they're only a couple of pieces away from the playoffs. That being said, that being said, another team that kind of feels like they could trade back in the position they're in here if they really aren't interested in taking Pickett, then they can move back, maybe grab like one of the later receivers at the end of the round or something like that. Although then you're moving back behind a couple of teams who probably could go receiver too. So anyway, this is all a long way to say that I'm gonna go with Trent McDuffie for them here because I think they could use the defensive help, and like Baxley was talking about earlier, you can kind of move him around and have him play safety if you need him to. And they, don't have Marcus Williams anymore. They don't have, they're losing a little bit of help on the back end. Might as well get somebody who you can kind of you can move him around in that secondary. Gives you some versatility. Otherwise, I could see them trading back and taking a receiver. I could see them just staying there and taking a receiver. Treylon Burks, maybe Jahan Dotson if they really like him that much. I think Burks is probably better than Dotson. I don't know why Burks has fallen down some people's draft boards, but I think he's probably better. Yeah. Anyway, give him Trent McDuffie.
No argument there for me.
I don't have an argument. I probably would say Daxton Hill there. They need safeties too. But I personally
do you think McDuffie can play safety and be better than Daxton Hill is at safety?
Probably. And I mean if you need him to play corner, you can play corner. Like
Yep.
I think the versatility is a lot there that really helps solidify who you want with that pick. I think that's a good pick.
Okay. Any arguments against? No challenges? If not, we'll lock in Trent Duffy at 19. Then we have Christian Hartley at pick number 20 for the Steelers. I think this is a no-brainer at this point of what they're going to do but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to come out of left field here and go Kenny Pickett for this.
Definitely a wild pick right there, man. So controversial.
I think it's really going to surprise some people.
I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. We can talk about Kenny Pickett, but I don't.
Keep it moving. Hometown guy. Played in Pittsburgh. It's
easy. I guess I'll go in about the Patriots, or I'll talk about the Patriots here. Now, this is tough because the Patriots do the dumbest shit during the draft every year and then wonder why
Green Bay. I'm so excited.
They can't have a weapon. But man, it's funny that the quarterback is listed as a team need. They're not taking a fucking quarterback. Anyway, I really don't know what they do here.
What you think about Jones?
This will probably be one of those ones like Ben has said where they probably trade back. I see Devin Lloyd there.
Devin Lloyd, yeah, is.
I'm thinking about Zion Johnson too because they do need interior offensive line help. They got that. Mac Jones got fucking wrecked in that game against.
They also could use a wide receiver. I know they traded for Devontae Parker, but they still could use.
It's too early.
George Karlaftis, Tyler Lindenbaum, they both sound like Patriots.
George Karlaftis Patriots.
George Karlaftis looks like a Patriot too. Jesus.
Right. They're very Patriot-like. They got the Patriot way about them.
I just thought about it. The Patriots
Devin Lloyd does sound like that kind of Patriots linebacker too, though.
The Patriots do have a good track record with drafting linebackers. I will give them that. So you know what? I'm gonna go Devin Lloyd there with that pick.
Dante Hightower ain't getting any younger.
No, he definitely.
I like that pick a lot, Daryl.
Mm-hmm. That was one of those ones yet again where I was.
The problem is that they really know how to coach in New England, and they convince them because they know how to coach New England, they have to big brain every pick for somebody that they coach to be better than where they picked them. But in hindsight, you really should just take the best guy.
Mm.
Yeah,
Devin Lloyd makes a ton of sense.
Good pick, Daryl.
All right, no argument. Go ahead and lock it in. Actually, you were here at 22. The Green Bay Packers.
What are you going to pick?
Quick question. Sorry, Baxley. It's not about your pick at all. Daryl, can you scroll down and tell me where Nakobe Dean is?
He's like 36.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Exactly 36.
Wow, I got that on the nose. I did not expect that.
Okay. That's interesting. Go ahead, Baxley.
I think it's obvious. Desmond Ritter is sitting on the board. The Green Bay Packers clearly need a
Justin.
quarterback for the future.
Justin.
So I'm going to take Traylon Burks, the wide receiver out of
Thank you.
Arkansas.
Okay.
Because, look, at the end of the day, they got to give that man some help. They let his number one wide receiver walk. They continue to draft Jordan Loves. They got to do something, dog. Like,
I still
you gotta
don't
give
fucking
him something.
understand that pick, bro. I don't get it. I just
look,
don't.
I think Traylon Burks is arguably. I don't know why he's fallen so far because the combine. I think Traylon Burks has a chance to be the best receiver that comes out of this class if he winds up in the right situation. And I think this is the right situation. Like, this is the perfect situation for him.
The man
if
put
they
up
don't
great
take Traylon
numbers
Burks,
with Felipe Franks.
yeah. I'm sorry, but if
I thought you were a Felipe Franks fan, right?
No, he can't stand Felipe
Me?
Franks.
Jesus.
Look, if
Absolutely not.
Green Bay passes on this dude, they might as well just send Aaron Rodgers a giant card that just says "I hate you, bro." Like
they just
pass
get
on a wide receiver here.
They're giving him the metaphorical finger, and then they might as well just walk out onto the practice field and just stand there, giving him
the entire time
real finger. Like,
just shoot him with a money gun throughout the entire practice because that's the only reason you're actually still here because we hate you, bro.
Good pick.
Anyway, yes, Traylon Burks.
Traylon Burks.
Good pick.
All right,
thanks,
go ahead and lock it in.
I had to joke about the Desmond Ritter pick.
All right, Mr. Jackson, you were picking here at 23, and I just want to say before this pick is made that this is such a hilarious pick for me because now that Kyler Murray is throwing a little temper tantrum.
Trade Kyler Murray and take Desmond Ritter. That's what you're about to say.
I'm not saying that they're gonna do that, but I'm just saying it'd be very funny if it happened on draft day. That's all I'm saying.
Wouldn't be shocking.
All right, those. So I got the Cardinals here. I think this one's gonna be kind of straightforward, even though as Daryl mentioned,
for them boys.
even though as Daryl mentioned, their quarterback is throwing a little hissy fit right now, but nonetheless, they lost arguably their two best pass rushers this offseason in free agency. I think that they had to find a way to do something to try and at least replace them. I definitely don't think that this person he's not one of the top pass rushers in the class, but I think they kind of got to take him at this point. Give me the man who should end up being a Patriot, but probably won't be a Patriot, George Karlaftis.
Okay. I can't really argue with that pick there. I mean, it's not going to matter because whoever they pick, Wonder Boy is going to end up blowing it in the second half of the season anyway, but, it is what it is there. Anybody got any objections to that pick?
I wouldn't rule out Tyler Linderbaum just because they traded Rodney Hudson in the offseason, and so they need help in the interior, like at center.
Mafe is another one that I'd look at there too. The edge rusher out of Minnesota. I think it's kind of a toss-up between him and Karlaftis on which one you prefer. But
Karlaftis also got a cowboy. Karlaftis also got a cowboy sound to him, so
he does. I was gonna say I like Karlaftis for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I like edge for the Cowboy. I like edge for the Cowboys here. I also like in any kind of offensive line help probably for them here too.
Oh yeah.
So we're good on Karlaftis, right? I'm making sure I'm putting it in my system too.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? The Cowboys, they probably have a couple of needs here. Edge being one of them, offensive line being the other. But they're really looking at the fact that they just extended Dak, right? And what better to complement Dak with than by also getting him some help. And by that I mean they paid a guy who should not have been paid. They should never have paid him the amount of money that they paid him. And so they're now looking to replace him, right? And they're going to go with Breece Hall from Iowa State.
Can't stand you, bro. Just make the real pick. Make the real pick, Ben.
No, okay, fine. If you're really doing, give them Tyler Linderbaum, because he can kind of give them Tyler Linderbaum because they could use offensive line help. I think Karlaftis is probably, I guess, and Mafe would probably be decent too. Uh,
I'd have taken Kenyon Green for them
Excuse me.
if I was drafting the offensive lineman.
well, Linderbaum though, Linderbaum can swing all around the line though, especially on the interior. He can play both guard. He can play center. Probably can't play tackle, but you can move him around on the interior, and that might, I don't know if that's more appealing to them. Either way,
He's also from Iowa, and they have incredible offensive line.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, I like both of those guys. I just think Kenyon Green would be my preference, but Tyler Lindenbaum is a more Cowboys pick.
he can. He can, like I said, he moves around, versatility. Yeah.
Lock
There
it
you
in,
go.
Linderbaum.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
All right, bet. All right. Hartley, pick 25. Who you taking here with the Bills pick?
It's a tough one.
Bills Mafia.
Because I think the Bills. I think if McDuffie's here, it's a no-brainer. But I don't. I think. I don't like Jahan Dotson enough to go receiver.
I notice a lot of people are high on Andrew Booth. Not just in here, but in general.
I was gonna say, I think some of the mock drafts I saw, they had that man falling all the way down to like the Chiefs.
The mock draft I was just looking at had the Cardinals taking this player, who also need cornerback help. And so I'm going to go Kaiir Elam to the Buffalo Bills. I think. Look, I watched Kaiir Elam against Alabama against some of those receivers and gave them fits all day long. I think he's a great scheme fit. He's an aggressive man-to-man press corner, and I think he's going to be really good. And so I'm going to go Kaiir Elam. I think you could easily, if Trent McDuffie is still there, it's a no-brainer. They go him. But I think they would go Kaiir Elam here. I was between Elam and Kenyon Green for what it's worth.
Good point.
All right. I have no argument out of me. Any objections?
Nope.
Lock it in. All right. All right. I'm going to cycle back to the Tennessee Titans. Now, Julio's gone, and I mean, he was hurt most of the time he was there. I think everybody expected that to happen. Now, I could get controversial here because I said this when they signed him to that fucking extension, that you're not going to win anything with Ryan Tannehill. The problem is that I don't think Desmond Ridder is worth the first round pick.
He doesn't have any more guaranteed money after this year, though. So
you're off the books for that.
Yep.
I think next year's a deeper quarterback class, so you can probably get one of those guys that are solid to good, fall to you. If they're still a playoff team next season, there probably will be. I don't see them going offensive lineman here. Cornerback Adoree Jackson hasn't been the best for them, so Booth could be an option here. I don't see them going safety. Jahan Dotson is an option here. They do need a linebacker, and I'm looking at Nakobe Dean at 26 here as well. But I think I'm going to go Andrew Booth. Their defense isn't terrible. I mean, even if Tannehill doesn't throw what 4 picks in that game, how many interceptions he fucking threw? All of them. If he doesn't throw all those picks, they probably win that game. That defense did a great job against the Bengals for the most part until late in the game. And at that point, they just got tired and broke down from trying to save that offense's ass. Plus, Derrick Henry was coming into that game off of being injured for like half the season, so he wasn't fresh as well. I see them going Andrew Booth here with this pick. I know a lot of mock drafts and a lot of draft experts aren't as high on him as they were around the beginning of the season, which in Clemson's defense ended up kind of wavering late in the year, which a lot of that had to do with the offense not being able to generate any points or anything like that or any yardage. But I think the Titans take Booth here. They need the cornerback help. They're not desperate for it, but I think it would help shore up their defense, especially in a division that just got, which I know at least one person in here isn't a big Matt Ryan fan, but He's I no doubt he's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. And then the Jaguars have gotten better. Presumably have gotten better at receiver, even though many people can say that they overpaid for Christian Kirk, which I do think they did as well. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. All the other teams in the division, Houston have. I don't think we had him take a receiver here in this draft, did we? No. Only thing they did was lock up Brandon Cooks, which I mean he's good, but as a number one receiver, doesn't really make any much impact. Either way, I see them taking Andrew Booth here to help shore up their defense. That's my pick there.
No argument.
Good pick.
Because I would say to take Dotson here, but I'm not the hugest fan of Dotson, in my personal opinion, and I don't think he should be taken. I don't think the Titans necessarily are starving for a receiver to where they take Dotson here when they can get one in the second round. Is my logic there. So I'm gonna
Such
go
a deep
Booth.
receiver class.
Oh yeah. And if there's no argument about that, I guess we're gonna lock that in. Make sure I hit the right thing. All right. And at 27, Baxley, you will be picking for your last pick in the first round. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your last pick in the first round with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ali Marpet retired.
Mm-hmm.
Zion Johnson's on the board.
Mm-hmm.
They take Zion Johnson.
No argument there.
But can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What made you not take Kenyon Green when you thought the Cowboys should have taken him at 24?
I didn't see Zion Johnson was still on the board.
Got it.
I thought he was gone already. I didn't even gonna lie to y'all. I would have taken Zion over both of those guys. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Very interesting.
Now I do want to ask this question. I know Marpet retiring heavily influences his pick, but man, the Buccaneers at safety look
Lewis Cine was the other guy I would have looked at.
Yeah.
I know Hartley's gonna say, "Why not Daxton Hill?" Well, because I watched Lewis Cine play, and I like him better.
But
You know what?
but
Just
yeah,
for Hartley, for Hartley's sake, give me Lewis Cine.
You changing your pick to Lewis Cine.
Yeah, Lewis Cine for Hartley's sake.
Hartley, do you want to throw the challenge flag on that?
I mean, I think he's going to get taken in the first round. I don't think he's the first round safety. I don't think he was challenged down the field except for one time, and that was by an Alabama team that cooked Georgia down the field. So that's my opinion. Sorry.
No, I think
So that's my thing. He also took Kyle Pitts' head off, so I don't like him.
yeah, that's why I wanted to take him.
So you locking in Cine or you locking in Zion Johnson here?
Do Zion, that's the right call.
Okay.
I just wanna
Any
get
objections
after
to Zion Johnson? Nope. All right. Well, we're going to lock him in. All right, JJ, you have the Green Bay Packers with their second pick of the first round here at 28.
Yo. All right then.
Fuck you, Crime Time. What the hell was that?
So we already taken the what I think is the Packers' biggest need, with wide receiver here. And while the my theme for this entire draft has been, of course, looking down the line, seeing you could potentially lose. I'm doing that here with the Packers as well, or at least I'm thinking about it. They already have two really good pass rushers in Preston Smith, Preston Smith, and Rashawn Gary as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll go wide receiver back to back here. Their secondary really isn't the best in my opinion though also. And their offensive line was really held together.
Knowing the Packers, they'll do something left field and take the only
Desmond
running back in the
Ridder.
first. It'll be a running back right here.
I'm going to take Matt Corral, the pick.
No, Matt Corral's going to 32 to the Lions.
I'm actually going to call an audible here on my own pick. I was going to go with one guy, but in my head, I talked myself out of it. I just don't really think the Packers secondary is as good as it should be. And so, with that being said, I'm going to take Lewis Cine from Georgia.
Wow. I can't argue that, but I feel like I should. But you are right. Their secondary isn't the best, and I will never forget that man King getting cooked. Fucking.
Hey, Whoa,
Every
whoa,
fucking
whoa,
po-
whoa, whoa, whoa,
what?
whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, what up?
No, I'm gonna stick with it. Never mind, I'm gonna stick with it. I overlooked somebody on my draft board, but I'm gonna stick with it.
Who are you thinking about?
Am I right in seeing? Because I'm looking at it on my computer at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right in seeing that Kenyon Green is still there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stick with it. I'll stick there.
You gonna stick with Seam? All right.
Yeah, I'll stick with Seam. Yeah.
Argument there. Anybody? Any objections?
Nope.
You seem like you want to say something, Christian.
I mean,
Is it because I took a? Is it because I took a UGA player, Christian? I'm
No, I
sorry.
mean, I just
man.
spent the first 15 picks hyping up Jordan Davis and Devontae Wyatt,
That's a
and
good
asked where
point.
Kofi Dean was. It's just
Yeah.
with Lewis Cine, I just don't like. I don't know. I'm Jesus, Tebow. I just don't.
No, that's
It's
fine.
fine.
All right.
I just think,
Hey, it is what
especially
it
with
is.
Daxton Hill there, I just,
Mhm.
I think if you're gonna take safety, I think you probably take Daxton Hill. But sure pick.
Are you going to?
I don't-
Would you be willing to throw a challenge flag and say that Daxton Hill should be the person drafted there?
Ben's next. I'm gonna save it.
All right, then we're gonna lock in. We're gonna lock in Lewis C. And then. All right.
You want me to challenge that so you could take Daxon?
No. I mean, don't challenge unless you want to.
Who, me? Oh no, I don't want to take Daxton. Why would I want to take Daxton? Just lock it in. Let's go.
All right.
Ben's up.
Kansas City. Ben, shoot.
Kansas City they've got back-to-back picks here.
Yep.
I think wide receiver is where they're gonna have to go with one of these, right? Again, another
Mhm.
team that they traded Tyreek, they brought in Marquise Valdez-Scantling. No way that they think he's gonna come
Juju,
anywhere close to
Did
producing.
they
Boo
bring in
Smith-Schuster.
Juju too, though?
Yeah, Boo
They
Boo.
brought Juju,
Yeah.
but Juju's the same thing. Like
superstar.
he's big question mark. Upside is there because he's gonna have a much better quarterback throwing to him than old, noodle arm Roethlisberger. But
Noodle
big rape.
Oh God.
So
boy.
the upside on Juju reproducing at the level we were accustomed to seeing him play at pre Roethlisberger drop off is certainly there, especially because he's not going to have to compete with nearly as good a receivers as he was competing with in Pittsburgh as well.
Mhm.
But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give them a guy who I don't think they take in the first round, but I think he fits a lot of the mold of what they've become used to at wide receiver. And he's been rising on people's draft boards because he had a great combine, and he is pretty talented. He's pretty talented. Again, he fits the mold. I don't think that's who they end up going with. I think they go with receiver somewhere here, one of these two picks. But I'm giving them Sky Moore.
Okay.
I think he's not. Now, I don't think he's going to be who they actually pick. They take a wide receiver, but I think he fits a lot of what they want to do. He's got speed, but
I think he is the type of receiver that they take there. I think he's the perfect type of receiver that they take there because of, like you said, he's like he is the receiver that they like there in that offense. So I could see it.
Either way, that they certainly go with receiver in one of these two picks, I would think.
I'm not gonna argue that pick. I think that actually be I don't know if it works out for them, kind of like the Mecole thing, but I think that's I don't think that would be a bad pick for them there at all, especially at 29. I mean, of course you don't want to fuck up on your draft picks, but it's late in the first round. The Chiefs are already good. Like you can they have the luxury of taking a risk on a guy like Scott Moore.
They also have every receiver still, or not every receiver. They have a bunch of guys to choose from if they don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he fits. He's the guy best suited, at least right now, who's available, best suited to replace that Tyreek Hill production or replace what he offered that offense.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds good to me. Any objections?
No.
All right. Going to lock in Sky Moore for the Chiefs. All right. Christian, you are at 30 with the Chiefs again. They've already taken wide receiver. So who are you looking at for them there?
I think the best player on the board right now is Jacoby Dean, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. I don't think they go Jacoby Dean here because I think they probably look to linebacker later in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And so based purely off of need and talent, they need safety help. They lost Tyrann Mathieu, right? He's
Yes.
gone.
Yeah, I think he's still unsigned.
He's still
Yeah.
unsigned,
He's not-
but
yeah,
it's clear
a
he's
free
not
agent
going
right
back.
now.
Still unsigned, free agent.
Supposedly they haven't made an offer, or they never made an offer to him. So
Mhm.
So in that case, I would assume need safety help, and so Daxton Hill's still on the board. So I'm going to go Daxton Hill.
All right,
Sounds good to me.
makes sense.
I don't really see anything else here on the board that they could take, especially now that they picked Scott Moore with the last pick according to our mock draft. So makes sense.
I
guess we're gonna go on.
probably would have gone Jahan Dotson there with that pick before, but I wasn't going to argue with it. I think he and Sky Moore are similar players. They're similar size. They ran similar 40s. And so I just think in terms of value on the board, Dotson made more sense, but I wasn't going to argue about it because the logic was the same. So.
All right. Well, Daxton Hill at 30. 31, I have the Bengals picking the pick fresh off of a Super Bowl appearance where the quarterback almost died. So for me, this isn't even a thought that I'm going to put into this. Kenyon Green is going off the board here at 31. If he's available, they need the interior offensive line help. That was one of the worst interior offensive lines I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. You know, they were close to winning that game, but at the end of the day, Aaron Donald and Von Miller late in that game started to get to Joe Burrow. They just could not protect them, and they ended up losing them the game. That's the one piece that they need to, I feel like, make them a potential lock for a Super Bowl appearance, because I think the AFC has gotten way tougher this year. Oh, go ahead, JJ.
Just real quick, I agree with your reasoning there. And I'm not saying that that's not a bad pick, because I definitely would say the same thing. But I do just want to just point out they spend like a buttload of money in free agency this year.
That is a good point.
They brought in La'el Collins. They brought in Alex Kappa. They brought in Ted Karras.
Okay, here's my thing with that. Can you trust La'el Collins to stay healthy?
No, that's true. You can't necessarily have too many offensive linemen, or this going to get hurt. Look at the Packers this past season, what happened to their offensive line. But I do just want to say just that was on the table. But I agree with what you're saying.
I guess my only thing is here with this pick, what else could you see them taking that would make sense, I guess, other than an offensive line, shoring up their offensive line?
As much as JJ hates it, it's like here the best player available also happens to be at a perceived need in the interior offensive line. Like the phrase "hate it," like the best player available here is. I guess technically, according to these rankings, it's Desmond Ridder, but that obviously doesn't make sense. And so then I think Kenyon Green matches both of those things: best player available, and it's a need.
I would look at Mafe here, but I think they were good enough at edge to not take one here at 31. So that's the only reason why I'm going with Kenyon Green. Like, I just don't see any other position that's available right now. I can't really see them. Maybe Nakobe Dean at the linebacker spot. But
don't they have Kenyon Green ranked 1 here?
Yeah, they have him ranked second. The Desmond Ritter's ranked first.
No, I mean if
Desmond
you do
Ritter's.
the player rankings instead of the predictive board.
Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the player rankings.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, Kenyon Green. Yeah, he's ranked 12.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there's Nakobe Dean at 21.
Yeah, so he's the best. He's the best player available. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like Kenyon Green right there at 31. Any objection? All right.
No, take it.
We'll lock him in. All right, and at 32, well, I guess Baxley had one more pick in the first round.
I did. Yeah, look at that.
The Lions.
Look, this one's tough because they need everything. But here's what I'll say. I think they can get this guy at 34, but I think the advantage of taking him at 32 is just too high, of like getting the extra year of control on the contract in case he does work out. So I'm going to take Desmond Ridder here instead of waiting to take him at 34, because I think having an extra year control, it's the same thing that happened with Lamar Jackson. The Ravens got an extra year control by trading up, taking him with 32. I'd take Desmond Ritter here. Look, I don't know. He's definitely a project quarterback, but the Lions are going to be really bad again next year. And, they'll probably still have another top 5 pick, so you can argue that they can wait out quarterback and try to get Bryce Young next year.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a possibility they win just enough games next year that they somehow miss out. Because they lost a lot of games this year by like single digits. They came really close to winning just enough games to where they wouldn't have been a top 5 pick. And so, maybe locking down Desmond Ritter, get him into camp, see what he looks like. If he ends up being a bust, you can always come back to quarterback. And you can even take one next year if you need to. But I think getting Ritter, getting the extra year on the contract makes too much sense for what the Lions need. And they've got Jared Goff to give him some time to try to develop under him. Like, not under Jared Goff, because nobody wants to be Jared Goff, but you know what I
mean. I can't really argue with this pick. I mean, I don't think Jared Goff is a winning quarterback, because some people could say, oh, well, they could go receiver here. No. I don't like Dotson in that.
I think you can get a Dotson or George Pickens at 34.
Yeah.
But having the extra year control on the quarterback makes too much sense, in my opinion.
Christian, what was that text? You know what? I'm not asking that question. So anybody got any argument against Ritter?
No, I think it makes sense.
Okay, bet. We'll lock that in here. All right, the first round is done. I'm gonna ask y'all, do y'all want to go into the second round? It's completely up to y'all. Y'all fine with it? All right, bet. So we're gonna be jumping into, I think JJ, you have the first pick of the second round here at 33 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go ahead and shoot.
Yo. All right, so we addressed offensive line with the Jaguars, and their first pick, Daryl ended up taking Evan Neal, which I think was a pretty good one. There are a lot of attractive options here for the Jaguars, and they've made some decent moves in free agency this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that the Jaguars need somebody. I think I'm going to go front 7 with this pick. I'll go ahead and tell you that much. Who that is, I have not quite decided yet. I'm definitely going to go front 7, whether that be an edge rusher or whether that be a linebacker. And they do still have guys like, if I'm looking at this correctly here, they still have Caleb Von Jason. Is he still there? No, he's not. Oh, he's not.
They've only got Josh Allen really on the outside, I'm pretty sure.
Dang. Well, look at that.
Well, if user-created Madden franchise people are any indication, JJ, DeMarvin Leal is a great project, is a great piece here, because the man always ends up being, just ask Baxley, always ends up being like a 95 overall defensive tackle. So there you go.
I would advise you not to make your pick based off of a created draft class, but
Oh man,
this is tough because
this is really tough.
I don't know. I think I know who I would pick here, but I'm gonna let you go and shoot.
Do I really want to do that? See, I don't know.
Hey, it's Tebow.
You know what? I'm going to put aside. Hey, what's up, Tebow? We'll put aside what I think that they're going to do here. I'm going to take some. This pick is going to purely be off of what I would love to see happen. What I think would make them just absolutely like super fun to watch, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think that they should pair with Foye Oluokun, former Atlanta Falcon, Nakobe Dean. If he falls to him here, take him. They play 3-4 defense. I would love to see it. It may not be the best pick. It may not be what they need to do, but I would personally enjoy seeing that happen. So I'm going to pick Nakobe Dean.
I was thinking of Jabo here with their pick, but definitely Nakobe Dean would be a big pick. The fact that he falls to the second, which is the beginning of the second round, but the fact that he falls to the second round is, I don't think there's really a team in the first round that's going to be looking for a linebacker like that, though. So I guess it does make sense. But yeah, I like Nakobe Dean there at 33 for the Jaguars.
Well, the problem with Jabo is he's hurt.
Oh, he is. I did not know that.
Did he tear his
He's-
Achilles?
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah. So
He was
yeah.
at one time a top 10 pick.
Mhm.
And
Why?
See.
I looked at Mafe there too, but I like N'Kobe. The thought of pairing N'Kobe Dean with Foyo Khan, that's fun. Hey Jacksonville, I'm gonna need y'all to make that happen in real life now.
All right. No objections. Want to lock up N'Kobe Dean? All right. At 34, we have Ben picking for the Lions. Here at
Nate
34.
Hutchinson,
Yep.
his running mate back together.
Wait, Ben, I think you're
mean-
muted.
If you're the
Oh,
Lions,
there you go.
you again another team that can go in so many different directions.
Mhm.
But you may as well see what you're building, and if you've got somebody like Jahan Dotson sitting out there at this early in the second round,
Mhm.
I think they go ahead and take him. They go ahead and take a wide receiver.
Mhm.
Most likely, they can go in any kind of number of directions. But
You feel repetitive with DJ Chark?
Huh?
Did they get DJ Chark?
Yeah, they have Chark, but he's the injury history. I don't think they only signed him to a 1-year contract. So the injury history, they're probably looking at that, not too concerned. Want to see if Amon-Ra St. Brown, like if he can continue to produce, or if that, make sure that wasn't a fluke. Get as many weapons as you can. It's not like they have anybody to write home about right now.
Mhm.
Other than that, offensive line, maybe if there's somebody you like around here, but it seems like all of the top guys are kind of gone unless there's anybody they like enough. Maybe they trade back. Who knows? Second round becomes a lot more of a I don't know, a gamble, unpredictable.
You know what? I do want to say that I'm very proud of us not taking a running back in the first round here in this draft.
The Cardinals are the only first round team I feel like maybe would consider a running back, and even
I'm
then,
not gonna lie to you. If I would have been picking for the Bills, I'm saying I would have done it, but I would have strongly considered it.
I can kind of
I mean,
see
Yeah,
that.
I could have seen Brees Hall to the Bills.
Mhm.
After
I
having
think
both of those
Brees Hall goes. Brees Hall goes in the top 10. Probably goes in the top 10 of the second round, though. It's a hot take. But,
Yeah, but I think he could go as high as where JJ said.
Mhm.
I mean, there's always one team, really. It feels like every year who just ends up rolling the dice on that first round running back.
Mhm. Well, I guess there's no need to argue that Jahan Dotson. I think everybody would say that getting Jahan Dotson early in the second round is, I wouldn't say a steal, kind of. I don't know.
That'd be a nice
value.
pairing, though.
Yeah, good value.
Good value.
Pair with Amon-Ra St. Brown. That'd be nice.
Christian, you're gonna be picking 35 for the Jets.
Yeah.
You're
Can
looking
you
at
remind
you.
me who they took earlier? They took
They took
Garrett Wilson at 4.
and then Derek Stingley at 10.
Derek Stingley at 2. Okay.
Mhm.
Be Mafe.
Okay.
Yeah, there was some consideration for them to go edge rusher early in the
Mhm.
draft. And so I think they go edge rusher here. I could see them going with a guy like Quay Walker. But I just think edge is a bigger need than linebacker. And they,
Mhm.
probably consider taking edge rusher, in the top, with one of their top 10 picks. So they get an edge rusher here. I like Ajabo better, but I think the injury scares them off and they get Mafe.
Okay.
agree
Any
with
argument
that.
there? I agree with it.
I like
All
it.
right. Sounds good. Mafe going at 35. I'm spinning the block at 36
Oh.
with the Giants. I don't know why I just said that, but anyway, I see Tyler Smith here at from out of Tulsa. They do need interior offensive lineman help. Quay Walker could also be an option for them, but I don't think they're really good at safety. And I know Jaquan Brisker. A lot of teams are starting to stray away from safeties like him, but I could see the Giants. I mean, the Giants did take Landon Collins, and then they had I don't know if he's still there,
Julius
but
Peppers.
Julius Peppers. So they obviously take a liking to a lot of safeties like that. So I'm gonna take Jaquan Brisker here with the 36 pick.
Okay.
They've also got Xavier McKinney.
Hmm.
He was their starting strong safety last year.
See, they do need linebackers really bad because their linebackers are terrible in coverage. I'm changing my pick to Quay Walker. I'm not a big fan of Brisker myself anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Quay Walker here at 36. Any objections to that? Not. Is this challenge flag worthy?
You know what? I don't think I have thrown one yet. And while I do think that Quay Walker
I think I
is
know
worth
what
it,
you're about to do.
I'm going to challenge that, and I'm going to say that if this man is still here, I personally am not sold on this guy, and I don't think the Giants are sold on him either. And yes, they could potentially wait until next season, but I think that the Giants could potentially eye Matt Corral at this point to come in and put some pressure on the Giants.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, JJ. I ain't trying to be an asshole or nothing, but I can't go with that. I can't go with that, bro. I'm sorry. It could happen because the Giants are the Giants, but I don't see them taking Matt Corral. I really don't.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
I just don't. Now hold on.
In tonight's edition of What Was TiVo Chewing On? A Titleist golf ball.
But yeah, I'm gonna go Quay Walker here with that pick at 36. Right. Any other objections?
I'd go Christian Harris, but it's fine.
See, if you had said that before I hit the thing, then I could have asked if he was gonna throw the challenge flag on that.
Nope, it's good.
Okay, all right, bet.
I didn't feel strongly enough about it to throw the challenge flag. I really haven't felt strongly enough about it.
Okay. All right, Justin, you're here at 37. Texans.
Who have we taken so far?
So here in the second round, Nakobe Dean, Jahan Dotson.
I meant like who is the Texans taking? Sorry, I should have been
more clear. Hamilton and
did they go offensive line?
Yeah, they went tackle with Charles Cross. Yeah,
so I'm torn here. I think I'm gonna go. No, I'm not torn. Actually, I know exactly who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with this player because I think that this is a team that we talked about it earlier. You can wait out some of these injuries because they're not going to be competitive anytime soon. So give me David Ajagba from Michigan, the edge rusher. I don't think I think that the Texans now the Kyle Hamilton pick's not as bad, JJ. I'm just thinking at you. No, I'm just thinking at you.
Damn, bro. Damn.
Wow. No, look, no, seriously.
First it was the Masters.
Now it's this
draft.
Yep.
No, but I had to pick on JJ. Wow. But look at it here real quick. I think now you could argue they got a top 10 tackle, a top 10, like a top 10 is in or top 10 in terms of the draft board total. Then they got a top 10 player in Charles Cross, a top 15 player in Kyle Hamilton, and I think David would have been a top 15 player if he had not gotten hurt. So they get 3 top 15 players. They just had to wait a little while for one of the 3. I don't think you can hate that draft for them, and they still get their edge rusher that we tried to convince JJ to take at 3. I think they could have got a better edge rusher, gotten Kyle Hamilton, and gotten boy, yeah, that's what it is. But
that's crazy, bro.
It's okay. It's all right. I think
Quantum
would have been the right guy. Mock draft bum.
At the end of the day, they still get 3 really solid players. Had to make up for it with the other 2 picks.
I mean, you get two instant starters and then one starter as soon as he's healthy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's great to add him to that mix. The draft board fell really well for my Texans here.
Any objections to?
Nope.
That's cool, man.
Any objections to Jabo? Nope. Lock it in. All right, JJ, 38 Jets. Go ahead.
Yo, I just want to preface this by saying that I think with all these picks that the Jets have, I fully expect them to make some sort of trade, whether it be before draft day or on draft day. So a pick like this, I may not anticipate them actually making the selection. I don't know. But I'm actually going to pick up somebody that Daryl just mentioned he's not too high on. With the Jets, we've already drafted was it Chris Olave? No, was it Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson
from Ohio State, and we drafted I forget
Derek Stingley. Derek Stingley and then Boye Mafe.
Thank you. I think they go defensive side of the ball here again and continue to solidify that secondary. I'm going to take Jaquan Brisker of Penn State.
Yep.
Okay. No argument for me there. Any objections? All right, let's go ahead and lock it in. Ben, 39 Bears. The first pick of the draft. Just crazy to me.
That is real crazy.
Boy, oh.
That's wild.
Man, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
I really, because I don't know where they go here. I really don't. Maybe I won't try to influence the pick.
Switch it? Can you switch it back to like the rankings?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Which for them that doesn't really help with what they need, but
nope.
I mean, they do need receiver. You're muted, man.
They do need receiver. You can also make the case they need maybe they need a guy like DeMarvin Leal, somebody on the interior. I don't know what. Bears need defense too. I mean, they're not good.
I'd go receiver, and I know who I'd take.
I'd go receiver probably too. Christian Watson maybe.
Oh God, that name gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Christian Watson. Give him Christian Watson, sure.
All right.
Interesting.
He's another guy who's been rising up draft boards. People are saying could sneak into the first round potentially, but
I would have also gone receiver. That's not who I'd have taken.
Who do you take?
And if I'd have taken George Pickens, and if he's there at 43, I think that's where Atlanta goes. Personally,
but do you throw the challenge flag on that?
No, because again, I agree with the pick. I agree that they're going to go receiver. Now, Ben had gone, Kenneth Walker or something. I would have thrown the challenge flag, but I'm just somebody's going to throw something out of left field. I just know it. Maybe it'll be
saying that the whole time. Maybe nobody will.
I know.
I'm about to say maybe nobody will.
Throw my challenge flags.
No, you don't. You can keep them in the pocket.
I'm going to though.
All right. Then we're gonna go Christian Watson here. Speaking of Christian, you were here at 40 with the Seahawks. They go back to back.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And so far they've taken who? Who was the cornerback that they took?
They took where are they picking at? Oh yeah, they took Sauce Gardner at 9.
They need offensive line help. There's none of that. Obviously, they need a quarterback. They don't have that. They need edge rush help. Given that, this is a tough one. It's a really tough one. All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go DeMarvin Leal in interior defensive line.
I mean, I can't necessarily argue that because
Yeah, I don't.
I have my
you know,
pick,
there's
my
certain-
idea of who my pick is, but they're picking right behind. So yeah.
Yeah, and I just, I don't think there's a perfect fit here. Again, they've got
Mhm.
back-to-back
Best player
picks.
available type situation.
I think so, and I mean, I think it's never a bad thing in this day and age in the NFL to get a SEC caliber interior defensive line player to plug and play. And I mean, I think he's probably a very talented player. And again, there's not quarterback, there's not a ton of great offensive line talent, nor is there a ton of edge talent at this point in the draft.
Mhm.
And so I would go best player available, which is DeMarvin Leal.
All right, DeMarvin Leal to the Seahawks. No objections. Lock it in. I'm gonna be honest with you. While I do agree that I don't think there's a quarterback that should be taken here, I'm taking Matt Corral. I think they take a chance on him.
That's right. I didn't even see him on the fucking board. I thought somebody took him earlier.
Nah.
Oh, I thought it was when JJ mentioned him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I mentioned him at with the Giants.
I think the Seahawks take a chance on him. Here at 41, I mean, if Matt Corral doesn't get hurt during that bowl game, which it wasn't a serious injury, but he probably, has it affected his pro day? He did throw, didn't he?
Yeah. He looked great.
So, yeah, I can't say that he would have been a first round pick, but I'm going to be honest. I will say that I do like Matt Corral more than I like Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
But, Kenny Pickett Kenny Pickett is basically banking off of his growth from every other year he was at Pitt until year 5 when he actually looked like a decent quarterback. So that's why Matt Corral is falling essentially. Also, I think Matt Corral is a lower floor than Kenny Pickett, but I think he also has a higher ceiling. So because of that, I think I'm gonna go with Corral there at 41. My phone ringing. My bad, y'all. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Corral at 41 there. Any objections? Nope. I'll lock it in then. All right, Baxley, 42. Colts, don't piss me off.
I
Yeah.
probably will.
Yeah, probably.
That's just who I am, I guess.
Yep.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to catch up. I'm eating dinner, and
I got you.
who did Hartley take? DeMarvin Leal.
And then I took Corral. Hayes, I know I have to pick. Oh my god.
Yeah, my only word with that is, Daryl, I want Hayes to pick. He's the one that takes.
Yeah, I'm about to do it now.
So I know Daryl's probably going to hate me, and I'm sure I'm about to get a challenge flag thrown my way, which is fine. Because it's probably way earlier than what he would want me to take this guy. But I'm not seeing anybody that I really prefer over him. So I'm going to take George Pickens.
No problem with that. Yeah, that's probably who I would have took right there too.
Okay, well I'm glad to hear that. If the Colts fans happy, then we are all happy. Look, I think Pickens, without the knee injury, would have probably been, if he'd have gotten to play the full season without the knee injury,
and he had an NFL quarterback.
And he had an NFL quarterback. I think that he would have probably been in the discussion for one of the top 2 or 3 wide receivers. He's got that kind of talent. We had to see it in flashes because of the injury. We had to see it in flashes because of his suspension. We had to see it in flashes because he didn't have a sustained quarterback situation. But even then, you see some of the plays he makes, it still pops. He's still that kind of impact wide receiver. I think he fits well in an offense that, now has a quarterback that can stretch the field, because I think Matt Ryan's good. I don't care what anybody says. I know there's some Matt Ryan haters maybe in here, but for sure that might be watching. But I think Matt Ryan's a great quarterback. I think that getting Matt Ryan a weapon, I think the Colts can contend with that defense, Jonathan Taylor, and some weapons on the outside for Matt Ryan to throw to. I think they can contend for the division, and then if they get in the playoffs, I think they can potentially contend and sort of follow that Matt Stafford line of potentially competing for a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it will be decided on if they potentially go after Deebo.
That's also
Yeah,
fair.
I'm very interested to see what happens there. No Chris Ballard. I don't know. He probably won't get aggressive to go after him. He doesn't really get aggressive for receivers like that.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to wait to take a receiver in the draft. And of all the receivers on the board, they don't pick again for the rest of the second round. So I don't think they need to waste any time getting one.
Yeah, because they might
they've
end up having to take somebody like Kyle Phillips. That would
exactly.
be around.
They've done a great job in free agency of shoring up their defense. So I don't want them to go defense here if they can avoid it. Getting Ngakoue and Gilmore were the two big pickups there for them this offseason defensively. So for me, I like Pickens here. Got no argument out of me.
Anybody else?
Nothing else. Also, I do think that the Colts need to go get a tackle, but I don't see a tackle here. I don't like Raymond at all, so yeah, I think Pickens would be the perfect pick right here, essentially. So if there's no objections,
JJ gets to do it again.
Yo, what up? What up? What up?
So
with my favorite squad.
Are they right now?
That's a question for another day, Daryl. But so here with this pick, I think we took edge rusher with Kayvon Thibodeau in the first round. And I think I'd be very happy if Atlanta ends up being able to get this guy personally. Once again, this is a stacked receiving class, period. There are a lot that you can pick from, and I don't think you'd be disappointed in. But I think Atlanta has to take a receiver here, and George Pickens off the board. My backup plan, which I still think is a very good backup plan, I'm going to take David Bell out of Purdue.
Okay. Yeah, get no argument out of me there.
I think David Bell's a guy who's also probably a little slept on because he was talked about as a top 3 receiver in this class before he obviously sat out the COVID. He sat out the COVID year, and sat out last year too, didn't he? Or something happened.
I think he might have. I can't remember.
I know he sat out the COVID year, and then he was talked about before that as a top 3 receiver coming out. So somebody's probably a little undervalued.
I am throwing my challenge flag. I'm throwing my challenge flag with this pick. And here's why. I think David Bell is there at 58 when the Falcons pick again. And if he's not there, I think John Mechie is there. And I don't think there's a huge difference between the two of them. I think Atlanta needs to find a replacement for Foye Oluokun at linebacker. And I think Christian Harris is on the board right there. And so personally, I would go, I think Christian Harris makes a ton of sense there. I think there's more value for Christian Harris right there. And like I said, I think you can get a very good wide receiver with the second pick in the second round there at 58. And I think linebacker is again, there's just more value there. Christian Harris. So there's my challenge flag. I threw it.
Good point.
4.4 speed, fast, can run vertical down, not vertical, horizontal threat, can chase running backs down the field just like Foye.
You know what?
Think about JoJo.
I'll accept it. I'll take it.
Wow. All right. So it's Christian Harris at 43.
That's just proof that JJ hates me.
And I
but
think,
but you know what, Baxley? I do tag you in text messages.
That's true.
Fuck off.
Here's the thing about this setting, though, JJ, is that even though I think those two players will be there at 58 when the Falcons pick again, because I said that, Baxley's probably going to take both of them before then, just so they're not there,
just to spite
so that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Right. Okay. Just want to make sure that's out there.
The only like in a real life scenario, if this like ends up being the situation, the only pushback I would have against that, I think you make a very valid argument, is that with them addressing, even though linebacker is a very big need for them, definitely, with them
Mhm.
addressing, I think with them address if they go pass rusher first with their first pick, I don't know. Even with them having two picks in this round, I don't know if they use. I don't know though. Them having that second pick is
It's huge.
it is huge. And it's a good thing, which is why I'm so glad they got that second pick after a certain receiver didn't want to play there anymore. But anyway,
But I will say
I'll take
this:
it.
if
I'll
Pickens was
take it.
there and you
Mhm,
had taken Pickens, I think that
mhm,
makes sense. I think there's a drop off after Pickens.
mhm. I
Hey,
do as well.
Sinkai, thanks for the prime sub. Just to
Oh yeah,
get in there.
Jeff
Wait, Christian, is that your
Bezos is
brother?
money, bro.
Who?
Sinkai, that's his name on Twitch.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's Grayson.
thanks Grayson for
Hey,
the prime sub, man. But
I'll take it.
moving
Rambo.
forward to number 44. Moving on to number 44, Ben picking here for the Browns' first pick of the
Going
draft.
up in the chopper.
Jesus, what do the Browns need? Nothing, everything, all of it. Let's see.
Nothing, everything, all of it.
I mean, essentially, yeah.
I mean,
Receiver, maybe. I don't, but
they're another receiver squad. Like, because they don't. Who do they have at receiver now? They have Amari.
Oh, they got
so-
Amari Cooper.
I mean,
And
they need interior defensive line. You got
That's
Perrin
a good
Winfrey right
point.
there. Oklahoma
Yeah.
was a vastly improved defense this year compared to a couple of years ago. They
Oklahoma.
weren't great, but I mean,
Sure, go with him then.
all right, I ain't got no argument there because I really ain't. I'm not. Yet again, the Browns are one of those teams where I really don't. I don't care enough to really pay attention to them, so I really don't know what they need.
they take best available, I think.
Yeah, and Perrion Winfrey would be the best available, so I can't really argue that. Any objections? Nope.
No.
All right, bet. Christian, Ravens on the board at 45. Who did they take here?
Ooh.
I'll go to their rankings. Yeah.
This one's interesting. I don't love any of those other edge rushers there. I don't think they go safety. They just drafted J.K. Dobbins, and he got hurt. They didn't even get a full year of him, so I doubt they go running back here. And so, based on this board, I think it's probably corner. So it's either McCreary or Gordon. I don't know a ton about either of those players, and so I'm going to go purely off of the rankings here from Draft Network and say McCreary.
Okay.
I think they go corner.
No argument there.
Gordon McCreary.
I like Gordon's speed better. At least from what I know about the two. But I think that's the right line of thinking is get them a corner. And it's just more about personal preference at that point. I could also see Logan Hall or Arnold from Penn State as an edge rusher.
Well, I was thinking you meant Arnold as in the cartoon character.
Hey Arnold, yeah.
Hey Arnold.
Anyway, McCreary locked in at 45 here.
Yep.
All right, bet. I pick at 46 for the Vikings. Who did they took
edge rusher.
Let's see.
It
took.
I got. Oh wait.
Jermaine Johnson.
There okay.
Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah. All right. I don't know how I just completely missed them.
At 12.
They're right there. All right. There you go. Okay. Man. I really don't know what they do here. Receiver, I don't really see that. I know that what's his name is starting to get Adam Thielen is starting to get a little bit older. But at the same time, I don't think he's to the point to where I think they need to take a receiver here. They do need cornerback help, and Gordon is still available. So why not take him?
They also need safety.
They need safety help, but Petrie. I'm taking Gordon. I'm taking Gordon here. I like him better than I like Petrie.
Do you think Gordon could be Pat Peterson's heir apparent?
Well, shit. At this point, heir apparent, he was not good with the fucking. He's not been good with the Vikings. So,
You brought that man back on the.
I mean, he's been decent, but he's not a number one corner anymore, and he's been
Pat Pete of old. Yeah.
forced to be that, and it just doesn't work. Not saying that I think that Kyler Gordon is a number one corner, but I mean, if you can get a solid number two in this draft and then build upon that next year in free agency or in the draft next year, then I think you take Gordon here. In my opinion, that's my pick.
Okay.
Any arguments? Nope. All right, going to lock it in. 47.
Then drafted for Washington.
No, that would be Baxley actually.
Oh, it is Baxter. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
Zach put his screen up just for this.
Yeah. All right. So who did the football team take in the first round?
I think they took Drake
Commanders.
I
London.
said that on purpose. Hartley, let me live. Who did they pick? Sorry.
London.
Drake London.
Drake
Okay.
London,
So,
yeah.
I'll be honest. Kyler Gordon would have been a really good pick for them.
Mhm.
So I'm a little sad right now. So give me a minute to mourn and figure
If you don't
out
hurry up
who-
and make this damn pick,
I gotta figure out who to pick. Damn, Gerald.
you need more and shut the hell up.
Yeah, Jalen Petrie.
Petri dish.
Give me Sean Ryan, the offensive lineman from UCLA.
Okay, they did lose Scherf.
Look, they need to replace Scherf, and he's the best offensive lineman on the board.
Ben, what you thinking over there?
I can't be mad about it. I mean, I think that's they need offensive line depth for sure. Before we re-signed J.D. McKissick, I was also like leaning towards, and I still think they draft a running back in this draft, or they'll take somebody decently high because Antonio Gibson is a wide receiver by trade, and he runs well, but he also has major fumble issues.
Considered Kenneth Walker for what it's worth.
I think Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller would have been interesting for them too, because I think he catches the ball really well, and if they hadn't re-signed McKissick, they probably would have liked that aspect of his game.
Yep.
But I think running back also makes sense for them here. Again, if you're trying to get the most out of Carson Wentz, I think the defense is good. Somewhere on the offense again is probably where they go here, because the defense is already good enough that you don't need to really invest there. So I think offensive line help, running back, any of them, fine pick.
Sean Ryan, no arguments there.
I'm sorry, who'd you take now?
Sean Ryan.
Sean Ryan. Okay, just wanted to make sure I had it right.
All right, good. Locked it in. All right, JJ, you're here at 48. Bears.
What up? All right, so hold on. Let me make sure I have my whatchamacalls correct here. All right. The Bears, we took a wide receiver with them in the first round. I forgot who that wide receiver was, but we took one. Kind of like back then, it's a question of what don't the Bears really need? I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, they're one of those teams where like I don't even whatever. I just gotta take. I would say take best available, but I don't think they need a running back. They don't desperately need one.
A running back, yeah, they really don't. I'll be honest with you, they need some help along that offensive line. I don't know if I really feel comfortable with them reaching down to take an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
but
I kind of like Parham here, but I don't. I mean, they got to do something because that boy Justin Fields got laid out like literally almost every other play.
They took if I'm not mistaken, they took the most sacks of any team last season, which is kind of shocking, especially coming from a Falcons fan. But bump it. Give me. I like Parham, but give me Tyler Smith out of Tulsa.
Okay. So where's he at on the? So I just cannot see. Oh, there he goes. Tyler Smith. Any objections to that? Nope. All right. Put that in. What happened?
No, saying the Bears suck.
All right, let's go ahead and lock it in.
Too, but the Bears, that's just.
Yeah, them boys probably about to be 3-14 next season. Even if Justin Fields takes a leap, like that team in general just isn't. I just don't think they have it. And now we got after JJ, Ben at 49 with the Saints.
49 with the Saints. So who did they take in the first round? They took
Penning and McDuffie.
Penning and McDuffie. Okay.
Yep.
So I think this is probably the range for them to go wide receiver again here. I mean, who's still out there at wide receiver?
You got Bell, Mechie. Hold on, let me organize by receiver. Calvin Austin, Shakir, which outside of Mechie and Bell and maybe Calvin Austin, all of these guys have like third, or fourth, fifth round grades and stuff like that. So
I think John Mechie probably the play here. I mean, they're gonna have Michael Thomas come back. They have decent enough guys that they don't need to be too worried about his injury, like too worried about rushing him back. But they could also use a reliable wide receiver, someone who could potentially be a reliable wide receiver should Michael Thomas continue to be hurt and continue to not stay healthy.
All right. Any
if
arguments?
They don't go one in the first round, they go one in the second round.
Okay. Any arguments against Mechie? Nope.
No.
All right. I'm gonna lock him in at 49. At 50, Christian, Chiefs.
Can you go? No. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go edge here, and it's gonna be a little bit out of left field. I'm not taking any of the edges that are currently listed as higher on this. I'm going to go Josh Pascal from Kentucky. No idea where he's ranked on here, if he's even on there.
58.
I'm shocked. There he is, Josh Pascal.
68.
Yeah.
I've been seeing him rising up the boards recently.
Yeah, he was a guy that it felt like every game he played in was just disruptive. He's got the ideal frame. Most of the things that I read about him say that he's, probably got the highest floor of a lot of these edge rusher prospects, although the ceiling's a little bit limited. And the production wasn't great at Kentucky, but it's Kentucky. And he plays in the SEC. But yeah, Josh Pascal, my pick here.
All right, sounds good to me. Any arguments?
No, I enjoy that pick.
Nope. All right, gonna lock it in. All right, it's back to me at 51 with the Eagles picking. They do need edge, and one of these guys are available here. And if I'm looking at everything else, the only other thing I could see them taking is a cornerback. And I don't think that Woolen is better than Cam Thomas here, so that's what I'm going to end up taking. Best edge rusher on the board. I do think he is the best edge rusher out of the three of them. I do know about Logan Hall. I really don't know much about I'm not even gonna try to fuck the man. If I took the time, I could probably pronounce it, but I'm not gonna try to fuck the man's name up. I'm not gonna fuck the man's name up on stream.
Arnold.
But I do like go ahead.
Arnold. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
Arnold, bro.
Yeah, I think Cam Thomas is probably the best out of the three of them. From what I've seen from most mocks and the little film that I have seen on all three of these guys. So yeah, or at least him and Logan Hall. So I'm gonna go Cam Thomas here with that pick. They do need an edge rusher, and while Woolen is an interesting pick there, a good edge rusher can help mask bad corners. Or at least average corners, let's just say that. So, yeah, I like Cam Thomas there. Not saying Cam Thomas is going to be a game changer right away, but I do like him here at 51. Any objections?
No, I think that makes sense.
Okay, sounds good
Go
to
with
me.
that. Who do we have? I know I made one of these picks, so I should know this. I
Mhm.
made the defensive lineman pick. Who was that I took for Philadelphia? Was
It
this? Oh, was
was
it?
Devontae Wyatt.
Yes, thank you. That's it. All right.
Cam Thomas here at 51. Baxley, you were at 52 with the Steelers, the second pick of the draft.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so they need a safety. Jalen Petry's
Mhm.
there. Jalen
Mhm.
Petry's the pick.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Plain and simple.
All right, no objections. We're gonna lock it in.
Jalen Petrie.
I actually, I'm not gonna throw the challenge flag, but no David Bell here.
Oh no, I took
No.
David Bell.
No, you
already.
didn't.
Oh wait, that's right. That's right.
Mm-mm.
Because
It's still available.
Hardly challenged you on it.
yeah.
No. I just think that they've still got a couple really solid receivers, even without Juju. I know there's probably the pull to go ahead and take care of the wide receiver position.
Mhm.
But honestly, if you go and look at the the safeties that are left, the drop off from Jalen Petrie to Brian Cook is pretty steep versus the wide receivers. Yes, David Bell is the best one available. There's still a solid drop off. But if I'm the Steelers, I wouldn't hate landing Wan'Dale Robinson in the 3rd round or Jalen Tolbert in the 4th round. Those are still guys that I think have some legit, and I think there's even some guys that are in the Justin Ross and
I
Romeo
forgot about Justin
Dubes
Ross.
that are really solid that you can turn to. But the safety spot, the best safeties are drying up really quickly.
Okay. Like I said, I wasn't gonna throw a challenge flag on it. I was just asking if that was somebody you could consider there, but that does make sense, definitely. So Jalen Petrie at 52, no objections. Run with it. All right, JJ, you're at 53 with the Packers pick.
Yo,
what are we looking at here?
Okay, so looking at that, we think the Packers still need some help on the edge there. They still need some offensive line help, but I still think that, especially with them coming back around here at pick 59, I think they'll be able to get at least one of those positions there. I think there's one for a while here. I think there's probably like a one guy they need to take that'll help them out on the inside of their defensive line. So with this pick, I'm going to take Travis Jones out of UConn.
Okay. Any objections?
No, other than UConn doesn't even have a football team, in my opinion. They're fake.
But are they?
All right.
What was the name of that team? Bishop Gorman.
Oh yeah,
Bishop Gorman.
Yeah. All right, Travis Jones is
Bishop
locked
Sycamore.
up.
Bishop Gorman's real team was Bishop Sycamore.
That's it, Bishop Sycamore.
All right, the Packers have Travis Jones at 53. Ben, at 54, you have the Patriots. We'll probably end up taking a tight end.
Patriots are going to do something stupid.
It'll take Trey McBride.
They're going to take Jalen Windermere here or something like that. Like, you already know. They're going to have something that they really like. Some guy that Bill Belichick has spent like a whole weekend standing out watching personally. I don't know. But in all seriousness, they took we had them taking Devin Lloyd in the 1st round, right? I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm drafting a lot of receivers, but it's like they could also use.
They could use a receiver.
I think they could go running back too.
That's also, I was gonna say, they also could go running back. Like,
they love to load up on running backs, and Kenneth Walker feels like the kind of guy that fits what they want at running back.
They just drafted a guy like Kenneth Walker last year.
Doesn't matter. Spiller too. Heck, they don't care.
They need receivers.
Yeah, I think ultimately they're going receiver. George Pickens.
Hold up.
Don't they call what's his name? Ramondre Stevenson? Was that his name?
Yeah,
They got
that's what I'm
Ramondre
saying. They
too.
just
got
drafted him
him. They got
last year.
David. But hold up now. This man Hartley throws the challenge flag on my boy JJ to get him not to take a wide receiver. Mechie goes off the board, and now Hartley's trying to talk Ben into taking a wide receiver, so that when the Falcons come up, and after he accused me of being the one that was going to take all the wide receivers, just saying, bro.
That is kind of crazy, bro.
I'm
That's
not
kind of
trying to mess
crazy,
with
bro.
JJ.
You stop instigating.
The Patriots need receiver.
They do need a receiver though.
They need a receiver. I'm going George Pickens to the.
No, George
Too
Pickens
late.
has already
Can't.
been taken.
Is he gone?
Was taken already.
Yeah.
I
David
thought he's
Bell.
gone like 30 picks ago.
David Bell. Then yeah, give him whoever's the best available.
Sounds good to me. Makes sense.
Really screwed my boy JJ out of his wide receiver, dog.
That's crazy.
That's
Any
crazy.
objections? Other than Baxley, taking shots at Hartley.
I still think that Bo Melton out of Rutgers is a better pick there, but that's just I'm just joking.
Okay. Anyway, let's go ahead and lock in David Bell.
No, Bo Melton.
Here at 54, 55 Hartley, you were picking for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I
Can
have
you
a couple
can you
of
go to those
interesting
running back
options here.
rankings, Gerald?
Yeah, most definitely.
Or they say, go ahead and show me them running backs, big dog.
They got Brees Hall ranked as the fifth best running back.
I know. I saw
am
that.
shocked by that.
Ryan
because
Robinson over Brees Hall?
Most everything I'm seeing has Brees Hall as 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking about Brees?
Hit that.
I'm gonna look at one thing, and then I'll make my pick. It'll be very quick.
During this limited commercial interruption, we want to remind you that Game 2 of the Celtics and Nets series is currently airing on TNT.
What's the score of that game right now?
88-81 Brooklyn.
Oh shit,
With
Celtics came back.
55 seconds left in the third quarter. Now it's 88-83.
Okay. All right. I am. Kenneth Walker. Over
Okay.
Brees Hall.
All right. I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with Spiller, Walker,
No,
or
it's a
Hall
toss-up.
here. Mm-hmm.
It's a toss-up. I just think I like Kenneth Walker better. He's got a cooler name.
He's got a cooler name. I like
All
it.
right. Any objections?
Although I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's going to wind up being the best running back in this class. I think he's the obvious choice there.
Kenneth Walker. All right, no objections. 55 is going to Kenneth Walker. I will be picking for the Cowboys here, 56. What I want to go and do is look at all of the whole ranking thing. All right. So they need an edge rusher, and Logan Hall is there. They've already had interior offensive linemen covered. They do need safety, but there's no safety available right now that I think is even worth taking at this point in the draft. So, with all of that being said, I think they go Logan Hall here, edge at pick 49. I mean at pick 56. Like I said, him and I forgot what his name. Oh yeah, Cam Thomas. Well, the only edge rushers at this part of the draft that I've really even seen any type of like highlights or film on. I don't know anything about Arnold, so I can't say that they would take him there. So yeah, I like Hall there at 56. Any objections?
Nope.
Any opinions, Bexley?
Nope, you're good.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Logan Hall, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's crazy. All right, Bexley,
No, I
you're
like
here
your
at
pick.
50.
It's a good pick.
Oh no, I was talking about what Hartley said, but
Nobody cares about Hartley anyway.
Bills Mafia.
all right. Bexley at 57, you got the Bills.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason I didn't want Ben to take David Bell at 54 is so that I can.
Because
snipe
you're gonna
the
be an
Falcons at
asshole and
57.
take. Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what was
Yeah.
gonna happen. If we're gonna be
Piece of
honest,
shit.
I know I'm the worst. But here's a guy.
Oh,
who
God.
I think that the
Easy pick.
Bills could have taken at their first round pick.
Mhm.
And I don't know that any of us would have really argued it. I'm gonna take Brees Hall. for the Bills.
Mhm.
Okay, sounds
Yep.
good.
No
That's pretty
argument
sad.
from me.
Let me just think about running back because I can't see shit. All right, there we go. Brees Hall
I
at
can't
86, no
believe they got
arguments.
him as the 5th running back. That is
Yeah,
asinine.
I can't buy that, bro.
Also, where is Zamir White?
I don't.
He is
Where is Damian
146.
Pierce?
146. He's a 156.
Damian Pierce is 156.
Okay.
I'm shocked that Brian Robinson is that high. To be honest with you, but
I mean, I think I think Brian Robinson's probably a top 5 running back in this class, but I don't think he's
he's
better
not
than
better than
Brees
Brees
Hall.
Hall.
Absolutely not.
Well, JJ, hey, you get the pick for the Falcons here,
I
58.
do. This is
Yeah.
telling me something. I should be in there. I should be in the front office. Not gonna really spend too much time on this pick. I've been beating this drum for as long as however it's been going on. But the Falcons, in my opinion, need to improve their offensive line. The wide receivers aren't really there anymore. But Dylan Parham, Parham, Memphis. I'll take him there.
But can I ask a question? I have no problem with the pick. I know earlier you mentioned the Falcons needed to take a running back in this class. Isaiah Spiller's still there.
Mm-hmm.
No consideration of Spiller.
Well, I think in the 3rd round, the Falcons have the 3rd round pick, right?
Yeah, they have no. Let me check on that.
Because if they do, I mean, there's
They may have
considering
given that up in the
in that trade when that
trade.
yeah.
Oh no, yeah, they have the 3rd round. As a matter of fact, they have 2 3rd-round picks. They got one from Indianapolis this year.
Yeah, so I think you can go get a
74,
running back
82.
in the 3rd round. It's going to be pretty solid. Especially if the draft falls the way that I think we're doing it. I'm looking at the rest of these teams. A couple of them might take a chance on a running back, but I don't think that every single good running back in this draft is going to be off the board, especially with none of them. Maybe one of them goes in the 1st round, but not too many are going to go in the 1st round. So I think you can wait until the 3rd round and get you a solid running back. So
That's fair.
I can go with that pick. Dylan Parham. Any disagreements there? Any arguments against? Oh, all right, lock it in. All right, 59. Ben, Green Bay.
Green Bay. Wait.
Mm.
We gave them. I think we gave them offensive line and a wide receiver in.
Yep. No, they got defensive lineman. Yeah, we got the offensive lineman. Yep.
Oh, they haven't got an offensive lineman?
Nope.
Well, then I'd probably give them whoever the best O line is on the board.
Also, Falele.
Interior or tackle?
Oh yeah, interior
Falafel.
tackle. Oh, Falafel. Wow.
That man Hartley's being an ass.
Wow.
I'll let
Yeah,
you know.
I'd read it and yeah. I mean, what's new there with Hartley?
That's a good
But you
point.
saying best offensive lineman on the board?
Yeah, I think just any offensive line. Let's take it.
All right. Now I'll
think
give you
that's fair.
my boy Daniel then. All right, bet. Any arguments against?
Daniel
Their
Falafel. Good pick.
their offensive line was straight up injury prone last season.
All right. 60. Hartley. What's up?
Yeah. It's
The
interesting.
Buccaneers.
You know, they lost Fournette.
No, they
Or did
locked
he
up
come
for
back?
net.
No, they brought him back.
They brought him back. They signed him for 3 years too.
And do they also still have Ronald Jones?
Even
And-
if they have them, the
and,
boys in the
what's his
doghouse
name?
at this point.
Keyshawn Vaughn,
Yeah, Keyshawn Vaughn. I forgot about him.
who came
Yeah.
on a little bit at the end of the year.
So how the hell is
No,
I guess they don't have
didn't
a
Ronald
line.
Jones sign for Kansas City? Or am I crazy?
He might have. That been one of those signings that I just didn't.
I'm pretty sure
Kansas
he's.
City.
I'm pretty sure
he
he's
did.
the backup
signed
in
for
Kansas
Kansas City.
City now.
Yeah, he is correct. Yeah, Ben is correct.
Excuse me.
It's interesting.
Oh, they did re-sign Giovanni Bernard. That was the other running back they brought back.
Currently, their running back room is Leonard Fournette, Keyshawn Vaughn, Giovanni Bernard, and Kenyon Barner. That helps.
So if they go running back, they might go one next year, but
Right now,
or they might go one later.
Yeah.
But
All
I
right.
couldn't see him taking one right there. Personally.
I'm gonna go.
Wait. They really have wide receiver listed as a position need for 2
I'm guessing because they lost AB and Thing is gonna be out for the first couple of months of the season.
for
Godwin.
Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
That's true, but I mean, they still got Mike Evans and Russell Gage. I mean, I guess you could, can't have too many weapons. I guess.
Is that
Trey
safety?
McBride, tight end, Colorado State.
Oh yeah, because Gronk hasn't resigned yet, has
Yes,
he?
I like it. I like it.
I like that pick. That's a pretty good pick.
I hate
Yeah.
that pick. No, I'm kidding. That's a good pick.
Fuck you, Baxley.
I love you, buddy.
All right, no arguments against McBride.
Asshole.
No, I dig it. I
All
can
right,
dig
all
it.
right. We're in the home stretch. Hartley, you will not get to pick again.
Going out with the
So
Alright,
we only have 4 more picks left. But at 61, we got the 49ers. This was the first pick of the draft. Holy shit.
Better go receiver.
Boy, oh yeah, they're about to lose
Debo.
They'll probably
Which
get
means
Damn, they're
they'll
about to
probably
lose
get a better
Debo.
pick, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm probably gonna go Woolen here. They do need the help at cornerback. I don't see an offensive lineman that they're gonna take at this point in the draft. Safety is ass. I mean, they could take Arnold here at edge, but I think
I
that
saw a mock draft that had Arnold in the first round.
I haven't seen
him
it.
go into the first round, too. In a
But-
couple months.
Do they really need to take Wool? Do they need Arnold at edge more than they need
No,
a corner?
They need Woolen more.
Yeah, so I think I'm taking Woolen there at 61.
It's a good pick.
Any objections?
No, sir.
All right, let's go ahead and move
UTSA.
on then.
Not me.
University of
sir.
Texas San Antonio.
All right, at 62, we got the Chiefs.
Who
Mr.
the
Baxley.
Chiefs taking?
They have taken, I think,
They've got a lot of picks.
Sky. They took Sky Moore
Sky Moore,
and
Jacksonville, Scott,
Josh Pesho,
Haskell.
and they took a safety. Yeah, all of that shit.
They
So,
still have running back listed as a need for them as well.
yeah.
Wow, I just noticed that we had them take back-to-back players, one from Western Michigan, one from Michigan. What are the odds?
Wow.
Interesting that running back still need for them. So because of that, I am going to take Isaiah Spiller at running back for them.
Isaiah Spiller falling to 62 is crazy.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
a possibility.
And the Chiefs are the kind of team that, like, Clyde has underperformed the last couple years, and Ronald Jones is still. I mean, he obviously underperformed in Tampa and was
Mhm.
constantly in the doghouse. So you still don't know what you have in that running back room. Adding Isaiah Spiller is another, just another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. I think that they could look at going, for a linebacker here, like Brian Asamoah. That's another guy I'd probably look at. Clark, Chad Amuma, my boy from Wyoming. But I think at the end of the day, I think the value is just way too high for a team that's competing for a Super Bowl. To add somebody like Isaiah Spiller, I think the ceiling and the floor even is just too high not to pass on it.
Not to pass on it or to pass on it?
It's whatever. Whatever I
Oh.
said. You don't want to pass on it, Hartley. Damn.
Okay, got it. Just making sure.
Clearly, I'm not
The
passing on it.
language was off.
I'll language you. I love you, buddy.
Anyway, I'm not even going to ask what that means. Isaiah Spiller, any objections other than Hartley wanting to be an asshole?
Just trying to get it on the record. That's all.
I'll get you on
Just trying to clear it up.
All right, at 63, we got JJ picking for the Bengals.
I'm sorry. Who we just had
Isaiah Spiller. Yep.
The Bengals have gone with both interior offensive linemen with their
Nah,
first two
it's
picks.
just
Is
that was double listed as a need, and when they picked the offensive
Okay.
lineman, yeah.
So who did they take?
Peruse.
Kenny
It
Green
took
left up.
what was it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Who did they take now? Oh yeah,
Green.
King Green. That's right. That's right.
Ooh.
Let me peruse this list here for a second.
The two
And
main needs
am I
are
wrong in saying that CJ Uzama left?
Yeah, which is exactly what I'm looking at right now. CJ Uzama left. They brought in Hayden Hurst, but I'm still not too convinced.
well, I mean,
I'm gonna go
yeah.
Isaiah Likely here, tight end from Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal
Pretty
Carolina
likely pick.
University.
Solid pick there.
That's what you did there.
Thank any?
I'd say they're pretty likely to take him.
How likely do you think that's going to happen?
I'd say it's pretty likely.
Pretty likely.
Ben, make this last pick. Holy shit!
Oh my god.
Broncos with their first pick of the draft.
This is their first pick. I forgot.
Arnold. It's got to be Arnold, right?
That's
How
what
the
I
fuck
was
do you
thinking,
not take
Arnold.
somebody
Yeah.
named Arnold.
I think it's good. I think it's got to be Arnold. I don't really know what the Broncos do. Is their O line still bad?
It was better last
Not-
year than it was.
not listed
in
as
the
a need.
past. It's listed as a
Offensive
need like
Later.
late.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him
Offensive tackle
Arnold.
is,
Give,
but
It's on a
give him
high
Arnold
need.
then. I guess
All right.
all right. I got no argument against that. Anybody?
they're not making the
fair enough.
playoffs, so it doesn't matter.
That division's freaking stacked.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Division.
All right, and with that,
Wow.
the draft is finalized. I would go over a summary, but honestly, y'all can scroll back on the video when it's uploaded on YouTube and scroll back to the podcast and listen if you so choose. If you choose to do so. But with that, it's 9:21. I have not eaten any dinner yet, so I'm about to go eat. I'm about to hop off. I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in live, anybody who watches the VOD on YouTube or Twitch, anybody who listens on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your fucking podcast at. This has been the Coach's Challenge. This is episode 16, and we'll be back next week. When is the draft?
April
Yeah.
28th.
Next Thursday, right?
28th to the 30th.
Next
Yeah.
Thursday.
So yeah, we probably will not record a podcast episode. I want to do what we did last year. We did that last year, and in 2020 we did live stream the first round, the first day of the draft, first and the second day of the draft. So I'm definitely down to do that again if y'all are.
For sure.
Ooh,
And yeah, that'll be our
I
podcast.
guess I'll do that.
All right, bet. But damn, you said that like you don't really
Got
fuck with us
better
like that,
things
bro.
to
That's
do.
crazy, bro. Yeah,
Oh,
you got
you're right.
other
God.
people to fuck with. That's crazy, man. But with that being said, like, thank everybody for listening
At least
to the
I tag
Coach's
you in
Challenge
my text messages.
podcast. Fuck you. And I'm gonna see y'all in episode. I'm gonna see y'all for the draft.